All right. Let's do it. Ready? I see my girlfriend one last time on stream. Yeah, for now. For now. Until chapter 2 comes out. Thank you for introducing this to me game. Wait, that's not the right sentence. Thank you for introducing this game to me. This has been... God, this fucking is rules. This is awesome. I knew how much I liked Phoenix Wright games and like Danganronpa and like... And really there's a couple other games I should play. But I knew how much I liked them, but I'd still forgotten how much I liked this kind of stuff. God, the writing is so good. Oh wait, I need red hair though. Where's my hair? This is easily your favorite game. So the year, game of the year so far. Oh my god, yeah. It's not even done. Also, thank you. I was just like, I got distracted looking for it though. Y'all, I love fruit, and I don't just mean my fiance and girlfriends. I know. I'm looking forward to Berseria too. All right, I'm gonna turn off the hand tracking for this because I feel like it looks like it's just gonna keep doing that. So, stop it. Okay. There's a lot of like keyboard movement in using anyways, so yeah. All right. I'm going into this trial, my trial, with a lot less ammunition than I'd like. I'm beginning to form a picture of what actually happened, maybe even circling on the drain on a suspect. But Emma won't get generous enough to give me breathing room. She'll want to end this fast. Maybe if I do badly enough, it'll flip her sadistic switch and she'll want to keep playing. So you got charged with owning an AI. First time you do something exciting in your whole life. And I gotta find out through the fucking grapevine. My life is plenty exciting. Freckles. You could bore the polish off of a resume checking robot. Catholic school teachers with more active night lives than you. Jesus. Okay. So who'd you rope in? Yeah, that's a line. Anyone I know? Oh shit. Are you representing yourself? It fits with my budget. Screw your budget and you're going to jail. Thanks to the vote of confidence. It ain't a matter of how good of a lawyer you are. Anyone who represents themselves in court has a fool for a counsel. You represented yourself countless times. Not for anything I had a chance of losing. Your pal hasn't even been dead 48 hours. You're too close to this. You'll make the mistakes. The powers that be really didn't want to give me a rain check. They're taking this very seriously. It's more dangerous than that. They're scared. Yeah. Is there a precedent? An ad committing murder? How'd you pass law school without learning how to look this stuff up? I know what the net says. I'm asking you. The answer to that is not helpful to you at the moment. So what words of advice do you have? Get yourself a new lawyer. Gotta close this chat now. Don't lose, Freckles. Don't intend to. You don't need to tell me that. I'm keeping that line. Only interested librarians, I mean, huh? Toxic Robot's lawyer. Oh, I know you're reading it, don't I? I was reading David's employment contract with Noble Electronics before I got waylaid by spam texts. The one we found inside the panic room? It looks quite extensive. Should I skim it for you? It depends. Did you pass the bar exam since we last spoke? Oh. You comfortable? I am not. Ever seen that old movie with the gorilla and the skyscraper? They bring it to the city, and I understand the analogy, don't I? I wish I could call it overkill. But considering the specs Sarah put up yesterday, maybe those bindings aren't heavy enough. Come to think of it, those numbers must have been faked along with the rest of what the machine read. If that was all smokescreen David had added to help her lay low, then her actual strength is more like... Oh yeah, that's a fair point. If your joints weren't currently locked up tighter than a vice, do you think you'd escape this place? I hope that question is not indicative of your strategy. This is more me trying to distract you, Sarah. Enjoy the hypothetical. I would estimate that the building's automated security put 9 holes in me before I reached the door. 9's not bad. I would not be able to function after the 7th. Ah. Well, if you haven't been planning some great escape, I would not do that. That would be illegal. And you would still be on trial. Yeah, I remember. So what have you been doing all day then? I am attempting to recover memories from Friday. You can do that? It is not dissimilar from the process of recovering data erased from any other computer, despite the difference in scale. I won't be able to remember everything, but if successful, I could recall individual pieces of information that could prove useful. Oh, okay, cool. So we got like a, one more thing kind of deal happening. That's a lot of coulds. And even if you're successful, you might not like what you find. Whatever happened that day, either you or David wanted you to forget it. Yes. But even so, I have to remember. Because this last day that Father and I... Any luck so far then? I recall a slightly musty scent. Wow! Case closed! Oh, thank goodness. We're done here. What about you, Donna? Can you recall the musty scent? Columbo moment. Have you formulated a plan for the trial's proceedings? Yeah, something like that. Just Jung insists that serotonin isn't what killed David. I don't buy it. There's no explanation for how he died. So, is she lying? And if she repeats that lie on stand, I'll need to expose it. Right. He died of mold poisoning! Shit! Ah! I knew that black mold was dangerous. Okay. Yeah, Adonai means God. Yeah. I remember that from before. Not just my lore, but God. With a capital A. Okay, yeah, so let's do a little bit of recap. So this whole thing, this whole like case has been about Morgan's friend. Where are you? Oh, right here. David. Dr. David Asher, brilliant scientist, but brilliant engineer. Was pretty close friends with Morgan through college and stuff. They seemed to like get each other on an intellectual level and like seemed to be kind of safe for each other in different regards, or like understand each other. Also, they're both like kind of social outcasts, so fit well together. Also, yeah, very gender. David is gender. A genius femboy. I love it so much. He's dead, so that's unfortunate. I hate to lose one like that. And we had a whole... What the hell lit up? Basically, he was having dinner with his friend and coworker, and also kind of boss, Helen Young. Helen Young is somebody who works in the same company, but they're both like part of Noble Electronics, which is the company that makes all of the, or like a huge proportion of the robots everywhere, effectively androids. And he was having a drink at David's house with Morgan. They were drinking out of these like red cups. My mouse just died. God damn it. Hold on. I knew that was going to happen. I should have plugged it in. They were getting drinks together out of red Solo cups. And And they were just having like whiskey, I think. And then David suddenly started getting dizzy, shortness of breath, fainted, and hospital was called. He got to the hospital, but he died from this. So drinking out of Toby Keith's cups, and David died. Yeah, there was like some amount of some substance found in his blood, but otherwise the thing, and so like people concluded, well, the only thing that killed him seemed to be some sort of poison that was in his drink, and we spent the last trial like trying to like figure out or prove that he didn't commit suicide, because that was the assumption going, that like he had intended to end it there, and like basically did it, like poison himself was what we were trying to defend him against. We now know that the thing that was in David's blood or inside David's system was something called serotonin. Where are you? Somewhere in the evidence. Yeah, there it is, serotonin. There's something called serotonin, which looks very similar to serotonin. This is like the synthetic blood. No, this is a synthetic neurotransmitter that's used in the new androids. So like Noble's coming up with a new type of android that's like a warm-blooded android that's supposed to be more human-like. Sarah is ostensibly part of that, although Sarah is very highly advanced and a custom made. That's a whole thing. But the serotonin, the synthetic serotonin is what's used in that, and that's what was found in David's system. So it's possible that this is what like killed him. Where we ended the trial last time was we were able to prove that David did not end himself. That actually, unfortunately, it seems that Sarah was the one who handed David the solo cups. So now Sarah is incriminated and being like held liable as a murderer, basically. That like Sarah had access to this like chemical 3D printer called the Manufacturer that was able to produce a serotonin, and who like the history for the serotonins like being produced by it was found in it. So the serotonin came from inside the lab. It was probably manufactured there, and Sarah seems to be the one handing David the cup that probably is assumed to have had the serotonin in it. We don't actually know that because serotonin has not been found inside the cup or anywhere else in the apartment. So it is an assumption right now that his cup of alcohol had serotonin in it, and that's what killed him. We don't actually know that, but we don't have any other evidence saying otherwise.
Yes.
No. So that we know David died after David experienced complications and then died after taking a drink out of the cup, and now we know that Sarah handed David the cup. Sarah doesn't remember that because all her memory was wiped, and genuinely has no idea what's going on. But now because of this, Sarah is incriminated with basically being the murderer, and that would have been the end of it. But Morgan, despite her better judgment, stepped in to defend Sarah, basically saying like, well, I'm the legal owner of Sarah, according to these documents that David left. David's will somewhere here, maybe. Sarah's papers. Basically documents saying that Morgan has absolute ownership over Sarah. And so Morgan argued that like, oh, well, I should be able to defend myself against this because like Sarah's my property, and so you're incriminating me for this. So she put herself in the crosshair. And so now that's why we're on trial. So we're on trial to try to prove that Sarah did not actually murder David, because otherwise Morgan's going to jail probably, and Sarah's being destroyed definitely. And we cannot reload saves in the courtroom, so we're saving now. We are playing. I'll save right now. Ow. Yeah, we are playing high stakes mode, which means that like it's been a little more less lenient with saves coming. We're also not sure that the chemical compound is what killed him. No, we're not. last time we were talking about it, we're going over like how serotonin could take effect or hold in the system and how that could lead to death. Because if it is a synthetic serotonin, but not actually serotonin, it might be a neurotransmitter that effectively in a human brain would block or kind of ruin ion channels, or I guess neurotransmitter like protein channels and things. Basically, if it gets accepted as serotonin, it's possible that those protein channels or those protein like things would not then let go, which is how a lot of poisons work. Actually, a lot of poisons end up working by looking like, or especially like neurotoxic type things. They work by looking or working similarly to a chemical that is in your body, but once the protein like accepts it, they're not able to let go, and therefore it cannot be replenished, and effectively like it drowns out, or it suffocates out those neurons. So it effectively kills them, or like make them like not able to function anymore. So it is possible that could have that effect. However, I think it is also possible. It is also possible that David had the serotonin in his system before the drinks at all. Like if he was living with Sarah and he was working along like for many months and he was developing this stuff, that could just be in the system through exposure, and it might be like a red herring, basically, just like completely unrelated. It's also possible that it had an interaction with the alcohol, but and like maybe he just hadn't had any alcohol until that one time, and the serotonin plus the alcohol is what killed him. But that seems I don't think we have been told explicitly any evidence of like why he would never have drank alcohol up until then. He might not have drank that much, but like that would have a long time for him not to have accidentally drinking alcohol, I guess. I don't know. I still like the mental image that Morgan has, like a teardrop dropped to the desk before slamming her fist on the desk and yelling objection. Given how much he was using, I'd say there's a good chance that there's a few ppm just in the air of that space. Yeah. It's also like, you know, when you're living with cats, there's like that bacteria or whatever that gets into your brain and like affects you in some way, or like basically very lightly but overall effectively coaxes the organism that it infects to be more amicable to the cat. It could be like that. Maybe Sarah just like spews out a very, very small trace amount of the serotonin that gets into other people's systems when they're around her, and then they like get they get like changed to can't help but to find her endearing. Or maybe someone slipped it into his drink earlier in the day, kind of like how you could potentially poison someone with an antifreeze. Could take a long time to kill. That's true too. Like the poisoning could have happened at a different time. Like actually, that is a fair thing that we're assuming, and it would be an angle to blow this case a whole new hole, right? Like a big assumption is that the poisoning and his death effectively took place all within his apartment. But actually, we know that he went to a party beforehand. No, not really a party. He went to an arbitration beforehand, because he met with the lawyers for Noble because they fucking want him gone, and they like wrapped up in some way. Young set up the meeting and controlled every aspect from the refreshments to the timing in line with the co-workers' descriptions of her detailed-oriented personality. So David went to a thing early in the day that was kind of stressful, where he actually would have had drinks that Young prepared. So I know this just kills me. And Young to this shit says like, oh wait, yeah, I thought that went well. I thought like we had that thing, that arbitration, and then like it felt like we left on like good ground, like things were positive. And look at him, he's like destroyed. It's the fucking image. Oh my god, it's the image in the office. Yeah, we left the meeting amicably, she said. Yeah. So he actually could have been poisoned here, and it would not have taken effect until later. Young coming over was also part of her plan. So if Young was the one who killed him, then she would have had an opportunity to like establish or set something up here, and then basically make it look like the crime scene actually was later in the day at a later time, but really the poisoning could happen here. And I that would be a way to like really change the case and get a lot more ground, because right now we're in a very tight spot with everything. Probably I suspect that this is very important. That's where we're at. That's my summary. That's my little like go over. And if she's telling the truth, she did not know about Sarah. Yeah. She's telling the truth, she didn't know about Sarah. Well, like, I think that's the thing too. Yeah, it makes this many more layers of fuck. Yeah. It really does strike me as a person that I drank. A person A drank their drink quickly and lived. Person B drank their drink slowly and died because the ice is poison type situation. Yeah, I mean, like yeah, right? This too, this being incriminating only holds because we're assuming that the poison is in this red cup and the poisoning happened at this moment. If Morgan can like show or bring doubt into this being where the poisoning happened, if we can start to target the arbitration, then this completely becomes meaningless. Like this just becomes Sarah handing David the cup. This is completely innocent. The question though is, why did Sarah's memory get wiped? And the answer might be that Young didn't. I mean, maybe if Young is responsible for this, then Young might not have known Sarah was here before, but then afterwards learned. I don't know. This is also interesting though. Like, Sarah was awake in some regard, like right at the time that David died. So where is she a couple minutes later? Like David died like 2 minutes later. I know she would be in the basement, but like, would she not have like been aware or that something is wrong, or like police have been called to their vicinity? Like would she have, maybe David had some sort of failsafe to like force her to go to sleep if police were called, or if like there was some sort of security breach. Yeah, there's still some question we don't really know. Yeah, we don't know why Sarah's memory was wiped. David didn't leave anything in the audio message. Oh yeah, by the way, David made like David has developed AI for like multiple years, and has been working alongside like 200 to 300 different AIs that he created, and Sarah is the product of the AIs that he created and his own work and like personal work that he kept completely secret from the thing. By the way, as well, developing AIs is very illegal, extremely illegal. Over 300 AIs. So there also is a question of where the fuck are they? Where are those AIs? We got a little bit of evidence that like maybe they're around doing stuff, possibly, but my other suspect here is that like this is orchestrated by the AIs because they were like, I don't know, maybe because they feel ownership or some sort of like parental connection to Sarah, and David's plan to give Sarah away was like, no, you can't just give away your child. Fuck you. You're dead now. I don't know. But like the fact that the AIs are just gone is odd. Yeah, David's very much guilty of that. We're not telling anybody that. That was for our ears only. That was in a recording that only we heard, and we just said, okay, cool, David, cool. Nobody's gonna hear this ever again. It is not in our evidence. Oh, I guess it's here. No, it's not in our evidence. All right, we have an ad break and a BRB, and then we're actually gonna play after this. We had a little discussion. Maybe we should get to the car. I know. Okay. Yes, let's go. We had to recap. Maybe this is too much of a recap that we needed, but I think we're all on the same page now. Yeah. Welcome back. Hi. Thank you. And if she repeats that lie on stand, I'll need to expose it. Somehow. Yeah, somehow. Would she really commit perjury to protect Noble? To protect one of Noble's patents? She doesn't strike me as quite the corporate zealot she makes herself out to be. But you believe that she had something to do with Father's death? Oh, well, what do you think? I don't know. I don't know why anyone would kill Father. Considering the possible consequences of what he confessed to in his journal, I could think of. But then again, I don't understand why anyone would kill anyone. Oh. Do you? Oh. Bell's tolling for thee. Means the doors to the courtroom are unlocked. Let's... Wait. Can you walk like that? Waddle will have to do. Oh. Wait a second. Across the hall, that's... Oh. Porter. Keep modeling, Sarah. I'll catch up. As you say, Nonai. Shuffle. This'll be a coin toss. Well, you that surprised to see me? I'm not surprised you'd want to see the outcome of this trial. I am surprised you'd want to talk to me. You're defending the android, right? Another pretty boy. All the boys in this are really pretty. Like, there's a lot of great women in this, and I love the women in this, but like, the few boys we have seen are really pretty. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't feel like being clever here. Yeah, I'm defending Sarah's innocence. I don't think she killed David. Do you? I don't think it matters. Noble is what killed David. Yeah, I think we can agree on that part at least. Whether it was a pen stroke or sleeper agent, killer android, or plain old goddamn arsenic, how could anyone be that smart be that dumb? What the hell didn't he ever sign his soul over them? David may have been in over his head, but he wasn't a bad negotiator. I've read his contract. His position was strong. Yeah, you're a lawyer. But a guy like me working in music? Can't tell you how many people I've seen screwed over by a big smile and a fat signing bonus. No such thing as corporate generosity. You think you're getting a good deal, it's only because you don't know how much you just sold. How much you just sold. David's real wealth lay in its intellectual property, the potential energy of it, hanging over the whole industry. If he sued even 1% of the companies taking inspiration from his Turing solution, there's a clause in his contract. Noble ever did fire David, he would have retained control over all his patents afterwards. Yeah, see, that sounds nice. Only never did fire him, did they? He died. He just happened to die. An unforeseeable act of God. In contract law, they call that force majeure. Yeah, that is the motive, isn't it? David is like too much of a wild card. He's brilliant, but like we have his property now. If he dies, that's the best case for Noble. I wish I could do a British accent. I wish I could. I need to do better accents. I said, did you find anything interesting in the contract at night? Huh? Yeah, a few things. Basically, David was well taken care of as long as they kept him around. And he'd retain control of his patents even after being let go. But what Porter said, logically, if David were to pass while still employed, Noble would continue to control the bulk of his IP. So if they knew David was going to leave in a year, it'd be very foolish of them to let father go. Well, they wouldn't do it for no reason. With this contract, he could only be fired for serious offenses, malfeasance, revealing trade and secrets, fraud. Father was not a fraud. He was, as they say, the greatest of all time. A true goat. Fraud just means lying to the company about something, Sarah. Ow. Eyes up, short time. I wonder if he was killed for the AI. Because if it came out that he did the AI under Noble's house, under Noble's back, Noble would be liable, and that could fuck over Noble and their contract with David. That would be potential reason. I should think about doing a visual novel stream with somebody at some point. That might be a nice idea. This is not just me with my bad voices. I mean, really gives the vibe of Juice WRLD Legacy has been how Juice WRLD Legacy has been handled post death. Yeah. Councillor Morgan, the state charges you with possession of contraband. Contraband? That'd be you. In violation of the safeguarding of our National Digital Security Act. How do you plead? Not guilty. What the fuck? She said not guilty. Why is she not guilty? Very well. Since it seems that we are, in fact, doing this, I'll now turn over to the administration of this trial to the adjudgant. But be warned, any attempts at stalling or muddling the issue, and I'll step right in and override the trial myself. Summary judgment, deciding with the people. Are we understood? Yes, Your Honor. Are we going to have the same adjutant as we had before? No way. Each court only has so many bodies, but the personalities swap around all the time. So the chances of us dealing with the same glitchy mess are, yes, they are. Glad to be back! Did y'all miss me? Oh, forget I said anything. Oh, God, I'll just crawl under a rock and die while you make your opening statements. Hey, girl! Defendant is the owner of the Android registered under the model named Sarah with license number 120292880. She hasn't contested this, and I doubt she will. So the question of ownership is already answered. All that remains is to determine whether Sarah qualifies as contraband. It's a charming android, incredibly well made, a masterpiece, and the last known work of a great man. But when we look at the evidence and the facts surrounding the death of Dr. Asher, we're forced to conclude that said android is responsible for his death. And that conclusion carries very serious implications. I will prove here in court today that the machine standing there killed David Asher, not through an accident or mismanaged dosage, but through an intentional poisoning. I won't ask the court to judge this machine on its apparent sentience, its range of emotions, or the free will it may or may not possess. I only ask the court to judge this creation on what we will prove it to be more than capable of. Patricide. Woof, whoa, why do I have to follow that act? But go for it anyway, defense. Your Honor, what the DA said is true. What did she just say? Did she just admit it? Yeah. Sorry, just the first part. My mistake. Wasn't clear. See, this android is charming, and it is the work of a great man. The rest of it was pure speculation, based on a little more than a few bad camera angles and a phobia of anything new. I do own the android you see here. Or I do own the android you see here. It was bequeathed to me by a man known to most of the people in this apartment as the father of modern machine intelligence. To me, he was just my friend. And if I thought at any point that this puppet had anything to do with his death, I would have dragged it to the chopping block myself. But I don't believe that. I never have. Sarah is an android, nothing more. It isn't capable of homicide, and it didn't even commit manslaughter. It's just a well-made machine. Any fears one has about its capabilities are projections, nothing more. And it troubles me greatly that the state is spending valuable time and resources on rushing to pulverize Dr. Asher's last known work, when it could be going after the very real, very human forces that were responsible for his death. Did you talk about Noble? Oh, the people can't prove that Sarah is an AI. And truth be told, I can't prove that it isn't. But I can prove that it's not guilty. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah, Nodi agreed. Not going the route of like trying to prove whether or not Sarah's an AI is very smart, because that basically would draw this into like an intellectual and philosophical hellhole. Oh, chills. You sounded very confident, don't I? Yeah, well, no one ever got good at lying by being modest. You could have simply said thank you. Thank you for your time, for your presence here today, Detective London. In light of the new evidence, I'd like to go over the death of Dr. Asher one more time. What happened Friday night? Well, at 6:30 p.m., David Asher spoke on the phone with his lover, and the two of them broke things off. Lover? It's an accurate description of the relationship, isn't it? Thank you, the pets. I wouldn't know. That's just private. Don't I? Then the deceased met with Noble VP Helen Young in his parlor starting around 7:30 p.m. He then left the parlor and the sight lines of his home security system before reappearing in his private secondary security system in his basement moments later. At which point the android Sarah can be seen handing him the poison he had to go on to drink. And do you see that android in the courtroom? Yeah, she's the green-haired one that's frowning at me. Oh. Let the record show that the android Sarah has been identified at the scene of the crime. No objections. Eh? What? None? Oh, fuck, why didn't I even show up? Detective London, what happened next? Asher went upstairs and shared a drink with Miss Young. Within a few minutes, he was being airlifted to the hospital, where he was soon declared dead. We know that the poison could have been produced by his manufacturer, which Sarah had access to just up the stairs in his workshop. So Sarah had ample opportunity to procure the poison, and Sarah handed Dr. Asher's cup immediately before he did. Is there a question or statement, Your Honor? I'll rephrase. Was there anyone else seen handling Dr. Asher's cup before he died? No. I have no further questions. So that's your witness, Counselor. He wasn't lying per se, but there was some ambiguity in the statement he gave. The truth's gotta come out one way or another. If I won't push, I'll have to pull. Here we go. I know. 87 is 8 feet tall. Yeah. I like tall girls. Lock screen, basement footage, whiskey. Alright. 6:30 p.m. David Asher and Isaac Porter broke up over the phone. 7:30 p.m. Helen Young arrived. She's sleeping in the background. and canonically plural, yeah. This feed broke briefly. Cameras in the basement showed Sarah handing in the cups and the whiskey. After he came back to the parlor and started drinking, it wasn't long until he lost consciousness and died. Okay, so what's ambiguous here? Drinking poisoned whiskey while he thought he was having a toast. I mean, that's the part that I really want to contest to know if it's a good way or a bad way to go out. I mean, that's... Heard a slip up in there. Could go nowhere, but at this stage I need to pick every loose thread I can. I'm gonna push on that, because that's, again, that's the assumption they're making, but we don't know that. There isn't any toxicology about David's cup showing that it had the poison. Wait for it. Young arrived, yeah. So like, that's fine. And then we spoke briefly, and then he went downstairs to get drinks for them. Yeah, that's corroborated by Young. There was a basement show of Sarah handing him the cups and the whiskey. Wait. Didn't show Sarah handing the whiskey. That's wait, that's also. Did they hold on? I need to like. Okay, I'm gonna let it go by one more time. Oh, damn it! Let me just double check that. Yeah. I think the footage was actually David went down with the whiskey, or David went down for the whiskey, grabbed the whiskey, started leaving, and then Sarah, and then came back on camera, and Sarah then handed the cups. Sarah did not hand David the whiskey. Sarah handed David empty cups. That's, I think that's a fair point though. Want to bet? Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. Check that footage again, Dr. London. We only see Sarah handing him the victim a cup. He had already retrieved the whiskey himself. Oh yeah. Oh god, I forgot about that. Detective London wasn't being specific enough, Your Honor, but it mattered little since David's cup, not the whiskey bottle, was poisoned. Weird flex, but okay. And the undeniable fact is shown clearly in the security footage. Sarah hands him a cup after he was ready to leave. True, she did call David back and handed him a cup of poison. How would Sarah know which cup had the point? Like which cup was going to go to either one? I was thinking maybe last time when we were in the courtroom that like, I was thinking before last time when we were in the courtroom that like, if David had gotten the cups and if they had specific cups, maybe like Young, maybe there was this cup that was designated for Young, but only David would know about that. Sarah wouldn't know that. And Sarah handed David 2 cups stacked together. It wasn't 2 separate cups designated, one for David, one for Young. So how would Sarah have known? Yeah. So no, we're gonna raise that. That doesn't make any sense. If the cup was already poisoned, don't you think David would have noticed it was empty? I guess that too. That too. Well, not necessarily. The lethal dose could have been quite small. If it were just a droplet, he could have easily overlooked it. For Sarah, this crime was very simple. There was too little to the plan for anything to go wrong. Why don't you just handed it off? Yeah, and if they really are just red disposable cups. I'm like, yeah. Once she handed it off, she just had to wait for him to drink from his cup. Is that all she needed to do? That wasn't enough to poison David. That's not really where I want to go with that. I feel like this is not going down the direction I wanted it to go. The fuck just reuses, right? Like, you know what? That is a fair fucking point. That is a fair point. You see, Young actually spent years building local immunity. I mean, that's actually wouldn't be completely out of the question in some regards, since Young did create the serotonin or the serotonin. So she could have given herself. Oh my gosh, she could have given herself immunity. No, but they did a talk screen on her, and she didn't have the poison in her. But like one way this could have played out is that like she did take the poison, but she had given herself an antidote or something to like counteract it beforehand. Also, yeah, I doubt the amount in the cup would be so small. I also doubt that too, because like it was I mean, actually, we have some idea, don't we? Oh no, that was performed in David Asher when he arrived. He's determined if any illicit substance were in his body. Only that was at the time that, but then it was the serotonin was identified from his bloodstream. Many similarities. Isn't drug. Yeah, but it's a neurotransmitter. I'm gonna press it. I think we have some space to press, I think. And not a great plan if that really was Sarah's move. She gave him 2 cups. How could she have known? Okay, that is where I was hoping it was gonna go. How could she have known which cup David was gonna drink from? There are a few ways to go about it, but it's only a 50-50 shot. Counselor, stranger things have happened. That's no, you can't just do that. What the fuck do you mean stranger things have happened? There was no way to know the right cup. Nah, what the fuck are you talking about, Emma? Don't try to bluff me, Rockford. There was no difference between the cups. It's not a bluff. Sarah handed the cups to him in one stack, with the poison hidden in the bottom cup. That's not... What do you... Oh, so like pour, drink, give it out. No, that's... She knew David was courteous and would pour the guest first. Stop it. Don't hurt me. No. So he wouldn't even be looking into the poison cup he was already pouring. Shut up. Cold-blooded patricide. Stop. Fine, just kill me. Emma, fuck you. Damn, she just lured me into those easy answers. And I fell for it. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Now, are there some questions you'd like to ask the detective while he's available, or are you done already? I was just about to get started. Jesus Christ. My spirit animal, why? Oh. Oh, the spirit animal is not that great of a term, generally, but yeah. Even if I didn't have questions, I'd make some up just to spite you at this point. But I can do better than that. No, what can I get London to say that would help my case? Certain footage, ad involved crime, tenants and the police. Oh no, it's fine. It's one of those things where like it has been in a lot of common like usage for a while without much thinking about it. Like even in reading that, I was like, "Where's my spirit animal?" Well, it's that terminology is very linked to and is pulling directly from like indigenous beliefs and spirituality in that regard, and it means something specific, and that is the case where like it is, has specific cultural connotations with indigenous populations, and like I don't think we've treated indigenous people very well, ever, anywhere, to be also appropriating stuff from them, you know? Yeah. That's also why I'm pointing it out. I don't mean to like call you out, Nody, at all. I'm just being like, oh, I should like mention that just like in passing. Like you're fine. It's just also like I don't think I'm a cynic in me to justify these new stuff. It is also like just pointing it out more in general to just to put that out there, so people know, because people it's not often talked about, I don't think. Tend to be ad involved crime, Sarah in the footage. Canada seems to. Canada could do a fuck ton better, but Canada does do more than absolutely nothing at all, which is kind of what I see from the States. Like, yeah. Like it's not to say that Canada does good with it, because like no, we could do a lot better. And I think right now, especially like with the dark side of all of the bolstering of Canadian kind of patriotism and pride over the last couple months for like wanting to like support and improve on like Canadian infrastructure and like in a wanting to not be as reliant on the US and to like, you know, like focus inward and support inward. The dark side of that is like it's gonna ultimately mean taking more land and really just abusing a lot more indigenous people's land that we don't have the right to really be using like that. See very hedge phrasing. Yeah. Yeah, like it isn't magnitude order of like again the difference is like the US, it doesn't do anything at all. Yeah. Pattern is only a fraction of Canada's history. Yeah. I like it actually was really struck me as a nice contrast when I had my congregation, or what do you call it? When I had my like PhD awarded to me, when I went to the award ceremony and you know it's like you go up and I mean actually you get the gown and the hat and you go stand in line and then like you just go like one after the other and go stand up, get a picture, shake hand with president if you want to. A lot of people didn't. I don't remember if I did. I think I just kind of nodded and kept going because of the, well, as with every university, you know, like all universities everywhere support or take funding from Israel, and a lot of people were trying to like at least do some amount of raise awareness of that or standing up to that. But what struck me as like nice was that there was a lot of indigenous representation at the ceremony, and that was actually like a big part of it. And I hadn't like expected that going into it, and I also was just thinking at the same time like, wow, I cannot even imagine anything close to this level happening like somewhere in the States, or like in many places in the States. I'm sure that's somewhere. No, you didn't start politics talk. No, I'm just sharing a little story, I guess, or moment that I like thought about that difference very strongly. Even just like including, well, like even just like explicitly including different languages other than English in things is a lot more common in Canada than I was noticing or seeing in the States. And again, it's also going to be like specific to area, I know, but yeah. Oh. Working customer service job and obviously transmit rough. Plus, I was just making faces of disgust and avoiding any interaction with me. Aww. Oh, Lulu, I'm sorry. All right, let's try to do this. Sarah in the footage. Add involved crimed. Tenants into police. Well, which told us that this was not going to help us. I'm gonna go this. Detective, in the footage we just saw, could you see what Sarah's doing? Not exactly. No, her back was to the camera and her hands are obscured. Could you see her hands from any other clip of the camera footage retrieved in the basement? No. Did you or anyone else participating in the investigation ever see Sarah put anything into David's cup? No. The footage submitted to the record has the best available viewing of what happened. That seems silly to press. That's Gleeflorp. That's great. That's good to know that there are places that do that too. She does have camera eyeballs, but we know that her footage was erased. So this kind of is like, I don't know what this doesn't help us to lead down there. That kind of just goes like, we would press that and he would be like, yeah, and her memory is erased. What the fuck of it? Right? So I'm gonna stay. Tenants and the police. Detective London, in their capacity as assistants to the police force, are Andrews ever asked to commit acts of violence? Yeah, I guess so. They can push people, restrain them, harm them. And does that constitute a violation of the tenants, harming the people they're supposed to protect? Well, as I understand it, there might be some complex weighting math that goes into it, but no, it's not breaking any tenants. For that to be the case, it has to have tenant 1, right? May not injure or through an action lead to blah, blah, blah. Yes, I suppose that would be the case, wouldn't it? Are you asking me? Oh, that didn't go anywhere. Oh, okay. This is far outside his expertise. As he had a technical questions accomplished nothing other than making us both look dumb to the jury. I kind of figured this wouldn't have done that, though. I guess ad involved crime. Detective, do you know how many violent incidents the city's police have investigated in the past year? Not the exact number. Thousands, though? Yeah, around there. And of those thousands of incidents of violence, do you know of how many of them were found to be at fault of the automated dependents? I believe there's been 6 in the last 5 years. Were all 6 of them incidents of police license had involved in brutality? Relevance, Your Honor. Which one? How many? No, but then this goes back. No, he's not gonna. We know he's not gonna know that though. Oh, that's really cool, Gleethorpe. Yeah. I mean, but we're at 19, so we're not there yet. Chet. No, they have dozens of them. That's where the tenants are. The tenants started is basically the 3 laws of robotics, but then it's like, oh, but can we add? We have people lobbying, like, can we add this law? Can you add that law? So on and so forth. And suddenly they have like 30 or 40, and it's a huge mess. All of these seem like dead ends. Yeah. I think that we're not going to press this one. Yeah, I say stay for this one too. Because we know that asking about tenants is not going to go... in this regard, it's not going to go well. Because we just kind of asked that. So I guess we had to press over here. What about the view from the android itself? Well, yeah, if we could see through the android's eyes, it'd be pretty conclusive. What the fuck? Wait, what was this supposed to press? If we could trust any data, but just by her. So just settle for the 1 camera angle we got. What? So we have to press this one? But that's then getting at this question. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's just going somewhere I expect it's gonna go. As an aside, detective, do you know how many tenants are recognized in this country? 110. 112 as of last year. Couldn't you have given me that one? Do you know how many of those tenants pertain to protecting humans from harm? That one I do know. You do know that? Well, what the fuck didn't you answer before? 41. 41. And lastly, detective, how many times in the last, say, century have we seen automated dependents break their tenants? 5 times. It's an agreed upon number. So if you were to tally up all that and try to make an evaluation as a police officer charged with protecting civilians, overall you'd say that automated dependents in this general are how dangerous to the public? The witness is not an expert on automated dependents. I mean, yeah, he's more than qualified to say whether they have a history of violence, Your Honor. Oh, what the heck? Let him answer. I would have to say they are not dangerous. Normally that would have bought me some doubt with the jury, but this isn't a traditional trial. Liz can say that I shored up my own confidence. Alright, seems like close up to going to get to blackjack, but like there's nothing here. There you go. Leave a memory point. What's that point? I have no more question for this honor. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of points lost. But I mean, like, that's yippee, I guess. I guess that's fair. I think we really are like grasping for any straw we can. That one felt like we got our hand bit on the first question, so why would I ask the second? Why would I press on the second question when it seems like it's going right into back to the first question, where he said like, "Oh, I'm not qualified to answer this." Suddenly he's qualified. I don't know. Oh, well, then we can move on to the next item on the docket. It looks like everyone wants to introduce some new evidence. I call Sarah to the stand. Oh, the android. Could she even do that? Approach, Your Honor? Huh? You're approaching me? I believe that it's me they want to speak with. I ain't gonna finish my line. Now then, what the hell are you doing, Rockford? Took the words right out of my mouth. I have questions for the android. I seem like the best way to get answers. You can't call an android as a witness. It's not a person. There are plenty of precedent for it. Ads provide testimony all the time. Not when they're on trial. Dio reference. It was me! Sarah isn't on trial. You are. Sarah's accused of being an AI. That means you don't trust a word out of his mouth. If the witness isn't to be trusted, the court can decide that for itself after hearing their testimony. Why the ambush? Why do you list this as entering evidence, T.A. Rockford? Only people can be evidence, Your Honor, and ads don't have legal personhood. Evidence seems like the best word descriptor. You know I can't make an android swear an oath. Rockford's just trying to spoil your opinion, Your Honor. The more this court treats Sarah like a person, the more they see her as human, and the weaker my case becomes in your eyes. Nice try, Counselor. But we don't have time to worry about impartiality. You're free to call mistrial if you want, but the state will have to turn Sarah to slag before you even finish signing her Morton. Rockford's calling a witness and is blatantly hostile to your case. If the witness is hostile, so be it. It did kill a man after all. Allegedly. What about the right to avoid self-incrimination? Who's the one... Oh, am I gonna hear for that? Who's the one who's treating Sarah like a person now? Androids don't have rights. Oh, damn it, that's... The android will take the stand. Your Honor, I've made my decision. And if Sarah refuses to take the stand, are you going to charge it with contempt of court? If the machine won't talk, you'll make every effort as its order to ensure that it does. And if it disobeys you, then we'll have our answer about its sentience right then and there. Yes, Your Honor. Shit. What's going on? The DA is going to question you on the stand. What? But I shouldn't... Listen to me. You don't have a choice right now. This is happening. Tell the truth, but be concise. The more robotic, the better. Yes or no's only, if you can. Would using affirmative negative be laying it on too thick? But Donna, if I make a mistake, all these people, they want to destroy me. If you make a mistake, a lawyer will just have to cover it for you. Understand? Yes. Yeah, no. Phoenix Wright did get hurt, yeah. He got whipped, he got hit, he got coffeed. And he did lose points. You're the android identified as Sarah, correct? Affirmative. Do you deny that this camera footage shows you handling the poison cup? Objection! Oh, does it? I don't know. Have you seen this frame before? Maybe we have. I haven't noticed the arms before. Objection! It remains to be seen whether the cup itself is definitely poisoned. Yes. Sir, do you deny handling that cup to David Asher? Negative? I have no memory of incidents, so I can neither confirm nor deny it. Do you have any reasoning, any excuse for your actions, for failing to notify police of crucial information? I do not have any records from that day, so I never had anything to tell anyone. Very well. Counselor? The journal, if you will. And this could be a slaughter. Of course. Do you recognize this item? It's a journal that belongs to Dr. David Asher. I've seen him writing on it on many occasions. And have you any knowledge of its contents? You don't have to answer that, actually. Tell the court what you see here in this footage. I see myself reading the journal in the basement. This footage was captured on Friday, the day you claimed you have no memory of. So regardless of what you do or do not remember, we know that you read this journal hours before David Asher died. That is logical. I think I know, Francisco, yeah. I'd like you to read some passages from it for the court. Hi, Symphony. Hey. Nice to see you. Can you do that? Of course. Page 238, the 10th line. Sierra is growing faster than I ever expected, beyond my wildest dreams or fears. Today, she... Continue, please. Today, she broke every password I have in the house. Said she was curious. I can't expect to keep things from her forever. Page 251, line 12. I have gravely underestimated the scope of things. Sarah could change everything, and I don't think I could stop her. He wasn't... Page 263. Damn it. This keeps up. Sarah's gonna fall to pieces up there. Well, she got the journal because the journal was in, like, everybody got access to the, to that, like, underground bunker place. Stay? You think it should stay? I'm thinking about it. Hold on. Brain hurts and overstimulated. Oh, okay, yeah. Nice to have you here. There's nothing, yeah, the problem is, like, there's nothing to object to because Emma can just say that, well, I'm getting the robot to read out the lines. Like, what's the problem here? There's no problem. I don't want to read the lines, so I just have to ask the robot to do it. So, it's not really much we can do, yeah. Like, we know what Emma's doing, but we don't really have much way to jump in for Sarah here. We could argue that, like, why doesn't Emma just read the book? Like, why are you forcing Emma to do, or Sarah to do this? But the same thing. So yeah, I think stay. We have to also make her endure. Oh, look at the shakiness of that. Make her endure. I think also we have to trust Sarah can handle this. I don't have a leg to stand on here, and Sarah doesn't have a shred of legal protection to speak of. I have to just let this play out. Page 263, I said. I think Sarah's angry today. When I came back from work, she had ripped as in alloy plate in half. She said she was testing her strength, but the cameras... That was... Page 267. Sarah scared me today. If she starts bawling on the stand, it's all over. Your Honor, I fail to see the value in continuing this line of questioning. Dr. Asher was wary of a highly experimental android he was building, as any good scientist would be. That's been established. Do the people have a counter-argument? I have just one last question, if it pleases the court. Yeah, let's hear it. This footage was captured in the basement on Friday around 5:30 p.m. Tell the court what you see. I see myself standing where I was when I read the journal. I am speaking to someone who's off camera, and I appear agitated, and I stomp my foot. And what happens to the floor after you stomp your foot? A large crack is made in the vulcanized polymer, and I walk off camera towards whomever I've been speaking to. Speaking or shouting? Asked and answered. Not really, but I'll withdraw the comment nonetheless. Your witness, counselor, or evidence, if you prefer. Damn, I need you to compare check all the worst passages in the journal, but still, If Barrows wasn't wavering before, should I try to have Sarah read the mushy parts? No. Waterworks would start after only a few lines. Emma went to all that trouble to show how emotionally developed Sarah is, proving that she loved David like a father would be playing right into their hand. What do you say, Counselor? Got some burning cues to Andrew just answer? Oh yes, Your Honor. Just one moment. Emma went for emotion, and that impact was devastating. So all I can do is focus on the facts. Flip this around. Say Sarah absolutely didn't poison David. If that's the case, why did she call him back on his way out of the basement? Wait, that's... Actually, I'd like to ask you to read from the journal again, Sarah. You would? From where? From the section explains what you were actually trying to do last night. The section of his journal detailing... Oh, that's in the journal. Oh, right, that's in the journal. Oh, Sarah, hun. Can we like read through the journal? I don't know if you can. Oh, it does. Early entries describe how he and Helen Young used to drink cheap liquor together from plastic cups. So that was that probably early career then, I think. I think. Because that wasn't like his fame. That was drunk when they like got the deals made. Yeah, I think early career. Look around the early section. There should be an entry talking about an early victory at Noble. Relevance. The people will see in just a moment that this story is the key to this entire case. Got an approval from overseas. Have to make the page again this week, Young says. Brought me a stack of plastic cups. Here's to our bright future together. And then on this next page, another victory for the young and the sleepless. Helen convinced the president of Futures over lunch that my code should be the basis for the Animate 13's conversational tracking. She insisted on toasting the same crappy booze and the same cheap mugs. Wants to make a tradition. Plastic cups and liquor. A ritual between Helen Young and David Asher, who were about to have a drink together Friday night. Something you want to say, Counselor? Oh, let's put all the cards on the table, shall we? You want to compare theories? If you'd rather I end this now, I'd be happy to oblige. Oh, well, here's what we know. Sarah read the journal and discovered what she was bearded, and she wanted revenge for being kept under the Maker's thumb. That very night, she got her chance when David Asher came down looking for a drink. So, like the clever little helper she is, she offered him a cup to drink out of. We're in complete agreement on all that. So you also agree the cup was poisoned, and that Sarah is responsible for his death. Not quite. It's not an explanation, Mr. Rockford, but it is terribly complex. There's a much simpler reasoning for why Sarah did what she did. I mean, it's Sarah's story, right? Also, good night. Good night, Key Switchblade. Happy 0808 day. 88. Yeah, no, it's totally a story. Should I raise that if we're confident on that so that we get some of our points back? Do we go all in on that? Because I mean that has to be it. It wasn't because of the call. It wasn't like we just established that. Yeah, no, we're raising that. Here, I'll like stand. You know what? Actually, I might think about making like a visual novel or like a scene where I cannot block the screen for next time. Okay, so young story. The story from the journal. You're saying Sarah wasn't planning anything. That she was just being considerate. Okay. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, but I don't follow it like at all. It's actually quite simple. Sarah's not an AI. She only threw a tantrum on that day because she found out she was being spied on. A realistic reaction for an android designed to be realistic. David Asher sent her memory to be cleared of himself because he wanted to preserve the experiment he was running. Sarah didn't hatch a plan to poison him using an obscure chemical acquired from the lab, and she didn't subtly manipulate David into drinking from the only one of 2 cups. Because the android read the whole journal that day, meaning she also read how David and Young used to celebrate. And so when she saw David, she was leaving the basement without the nostalgic cups. She called him back to hand them to him. Simple, right? Simple enough for me, but not nearly good enough for me. Oh, what's more likely, Miss Rockford, that a well-made, clever android proposed a sentimental addition to 2 friends' evening, or that a homegrown AI with the groundbreaking physical and digital capabilities concocted a complicated poisoning scheme just to kill an unimposing man, all on camera, mind you, before voluntarily submitting to a memory wipe. People make all kinds of stupid mistakes when they commit crimes, Guzzler. We shouldn't expect an AI to act much differently. Is it stupid or dangerous? Also, Emma, I thought that you weren't going to try to argue whether or not it was an AI, so I thought we were leaving that, like, that box closed there. Girl? I love this terrifying chubby gotcha. I love that, like, my reading for her, I could probably do a lot better with her voice, but, like, my reading for her is that, like, she's fairly soft-spoken, but when she focuses up, she, like, gets, like, an acid in her voice that is, like, cuts deep and is terrifying. Hi, Sapphira. Thank you, Starspire. Can't have it both ways, Your Honor. We can if it's ignorant or if it's power, and it's still immature. A deadly trait to have an AI that's capable of anything. Shall we see what Sarah's capable of then, Your Honor? What? You can't be... Your Honor, that's... The people open the door. True. Oh, but I can't resist opening doors. Let's do it. What are you even... Sarah, David Asher was your creator and your designated owner, correct? Should I still be using affirmative? And now that title falls to me. Yes? Great, thank you. Now turn off. What? Shut down, that's a command. Power on. What are you... Off. On. On, I don't... Off. Man. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is what this fearsome machine menace is capable of. I can put it to sleep with one word. So how could David Asher ever be threatened by it? Oh, scary. Scary good logic. You've made your point, Counselor. Let's move it along. Oh, I've never further queries for the machine, Your Honor. This game's awesome. Thank you for flipping you off and on. Can't imagine that was comfortable. It wasn't. But I wasn't referring to that. Since yesterday, I've been searching for an answer to why I appeared on that camera. I know I would never hurt Father. You helped me prove that to myself just now. Don't I? Pardon me, I need to focus. Everything depends on this next witness. The people call Helen Young to stand. Good night. Good night, Lenwin. He's not doing a Robot Reeves. Sleep well, Lenwin, and yeah, got some notes for you. You got some notes for me? Oh yeah, please. Whenever you got. Yeah, whenever. We can chat tomorrow. I should be like, I should like get out of the house tomorrow, but I'll probably be around like during the night and things. So yeah, voice acting. Yeah. I also I had messaged Yuko and started, at least for the model stuff, like started getting the ball rolling on that to like get things going. Plans, things and plans. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. Play some music. No music is playing, but yeah, I'll be right back. Ow. Okay, hi. How's it going? Bye, Symphony. Sleep well. Yeah, stay safe. Yeah, get some rest up.
Yes.
All right, you ready for the next witness? This is where it gets real, is what I imagine. Like, this is... You know, things are like heating up at this point. Normally, incomprehensible Eldritch is just eyes and tentacles, right? Yes, although I like the well no, I don't really like what's this called? HP Lovecraft, but I do like the core idea of indescribable horror being like actually something that is purely indescribable and is drives you mad, so it's not something that could be described even as eyes or tentacles. Imagine the wide ape. Imagine a wide room. In the widest room you can possibly imagine, the ape is wider than that. Its other proportions are the same, but it's really just really wide. The wide ape. I things that like seem to break reality or laws of reality is also a cool way. That's kind of what the backrooms is, right? And how that goes as like an eldritch horror is something that's like seems understandable, but doesn't seem to follow the rules that you are established or that you know, and that there's something else there. So it's like lures you in with some sort of sense of like normalcy, but it actually is scary. Or like that, or that what's that game? The pool house game? That was also kind of like that a bit. But even then, in those cases, like a lot of times, something like the backrooms ends up just being, well, it's just the backrooms. The backrooms themselves are scary, but like I don't think I want to see like the backrooms really pushed in that concept. It shouldn't make sense, but it just does. Wide H. Okay, now I'm imagining like Donkey Kong's face just like stretched out. Yeah, you can make sense of it, but you can't, and you can't understand the parts you can't make sense of, and it's almost what your brain would probably do in that case is that like what you're making sense of is actually just your brain's best approximation, and really there's like more that you're just not able to comprehend and process, and so you're seeing like the simplified version of it. But anyways, can I repeat the joke? Sure. Well, I'm gonna keep going. The people call Holly Young to stand. I mean, yeah, demons are cool. Like, humans are fucking terrifying. Helen Young, Vice President of the Android Futures at Noble Electronics, Eastern Division. Miss Young, were you there the night Dr. Asher died? And were you on camera the entire time? Yes, that is correct. I made certain I was on camera at all times. The slab, 1 inch long, 12 inches wide. Yeah, I don't have the context for that. So, what did you see that night? Well, I arrived at 7:30, as you know. David and I talked in the parlor, then he left to retrieve some refreshments for us. After drinking together for a short while, he fell ill. I contacted emergency services, and I'm sure you're all tired of hearing the same details over and over by now. Same details over and over aren't going to hold up anymore, Madam Beep. It's still unclear to me whether Young's more concerned with protecting herself or the almighty company, but it'll clear up real fast if I can turn up the pressure on her here and now. It's a penis. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I mean, whenever I hear inches like that, that was my first thought, but I wasn't sure if that would actually be it. 1 inch long, 12 inch wide penis. Well, you just need to look at it from a different angle. The slab, yeah. Young story. All right. I came to David's at 7:30. That's no reason to press that. We chatted for a short while about some low priority work, nothing heavy. Before long, he offered to fetch us some refreshments. You're glossing over something with that. When he came back, we shared a drink together. Uh-huh. At the time, I didn't notice anything strange. That's fair. Can't argue that. We were just reminiscing. I didn't think his life was in danger. But then he became ill. You're just reminiscing? You're just reminiscing? Is that... Okay, there's 2 places we can call, though. Surrender the kitchen, activate his emergency console, and yeah, that was all established. Nothing big, just like casual conversation. And actually, we have... She's trying to paint a picture of what happened that day. I can't let her set the tone as she pleases. Yeah, and we actually just established evidence for the court. The reason that it wasn't just like, oh, it was just a casual drink. That like Sarah brought the cups. There's red cups and drinks being there was something that happened with celebration or something. It was a tradition for like big events. So we know there's something big. I mean, the court knows something. There's something big. Obviously we know. Yeah, but the arbitration. I'm gonna press the first one, I think. Kennedy was at 7:30. Yeah, no. Fuck you. Nothing heavy. You're both more professional than I realized. Since only hours earlier you had run a meeting in which his employment was terminated. His employment wasn't terminated at the arbitration you're referring to. His resignation was merely agreed upon. Thank you for the clarification. Yes, and we can all imagine how grateful he felt about the whole process. David didn't hold grudges. Our conversation wasn't about that. The fact that you had fired him that afternoon didn't come up. Asked and answered. Who initiated the meeting at his friend house? I arrived unannounced. So you weren't invited. Very cordial indeed. If he didn't want to see me, he could have stopped me at the elevators. Could he have? Noble owned that entire building, down to the wiring. Counsel is badgered and witness, Your Honor. Huh? Oh, right. Oh, God, should we execute her for that then? Like, no need? If I can just continue my questioning, we can finally start addressing the elephant in the room. Where? Oh, I see. It was merely a joke. God, you got me with that one. God, I love her. We have now learned 8084 is afraid of elephants. Miss Young, Noble Electronics owns a patent for and produces a synthetic biochemical known as serotonin, correct? Yes, that's correct. It's used in our warm models to facilitate integration and communication between organic and synthetic components. It's an artificial transmitter? Essentially, yes. Synthetic analog serotonin was the original name. Did you bring the sample I requested to the courtroom today? I did. Serotonin is produced on site at our assembly lines as a caramel tinted solution. Ah, fuck. That doesn't help. Including water and a few non-reactive organic byproducts. Your analysis, Your Honor? Working on it. It's odorless and tasteless. A solution of water and organic byproducts, you said. If that solution were ingested, most of it would look right at home in a human body. Yes, I suppose. But the synthetic serotonin would stand out, wouldn't you say? It's not naturally occurring compound, so yes. No, Your Honor, don't. I don't actually throw it in. I want to I mean... And it's a perfect match with the substance previously labeled Delta. And the sample we collected from the manufacturer preset in Dr. Asher's lab. That's bingo. The witness's brown stuff matches your brown stuff down to a T. In light of this evidence and the witness's testimony, a motion the court formally recognizes that Dr. Asher's cause of death was serotonin poisoning. I don't object. No, we should. Wait. Is it when it caused poisoning? I don't object, Your Honor. But I am afraid that I must. Excuse me? Serotonin may very well have been in his body when he died, but serotonin didn't kill Dr. Asher. Didn't expect that. Also, yeah, this is where I was wondering and wanting to go. Because, yeah, the blood transfusion. Well, like, I think a big part of this, actually, is that, like, Noble, it's going to be really bad for Noble if they're caught up in a case where serotonin killed their lead prodigy. If that's what the public ends up seeing, that's actually really fucking bad. When they just had that other thing, the blood transfusion. Well, we've known to be safe, but also that was a complete stage thing that Noble doesn't actually want to be known. That's the problem with that. That wasn't like a good thing that happened necessarily for Noble. That was actually kind of just a controlled test where the patient had it wasn't like an accident. It was effectively a controlled test where the patient had access to like medical facilities right nearby, and they just kind of did it to see, I guess. I don't know. I guess as an experiment. Serotonin may very well have been in his body when he died, but serotonin didn't kill Dr. Asher. What the hell is she up to? Also, yeah, that makes sense why she's objecting to this, but also, what is she up to here? Because this, like, this is making me think that Young didn't do it. Because what the fuck would, like, this is going in her favor. It couldn't have. It couldn't kill anybody. What? Because it's non-toxic, of course. We designed it to infect androids, not people. Hold on. You're now claiming that Dr. Asher died of, what, natural causes? I can't say what he died of. I am not a medical expert. You did create a synthetic serotonin, but okay. But I can easily prove that serotonin is harmless. How could you, like, so? Oh, well. Huh. Didn't see that one coming. What? What? Oh, that ain't good. Bailiff, contact the hospital immediately. I told you it's fine. But I can stand here all day if necessary. What in the... And what you just drank was several hundred times the amount found in Dr. Asher's body. Why didn't you say anything until now? Well, Noble Electronics is a multinational corporation with patents filed all over the world. We take the protection of our trade secrets very seriously. The production in serotonin is nature of serotonin is closely guarded. That guard remains up even during a murder investigation. Unfortunately, I would have been able to tell you earlier had you asked directly. What the hell kind of... this can't be right. Nothing makes any sense. Oh boy, howdy. I'm lost as hell. It's fine until you drink clearly. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if that is the angle that's going to happen here. If it's serotonin plus alcohol. But do you have any further questions, Rocky Ford? Not at the moment, Your Honor. I am enjoying the fact that now Emma is, like, thrown for a complete loop. And the defense? Prosecution's own witness just threw the entire case into question. Normally this would be cause for celebration, but the shadow of doubt is enough this time. Barrows would much rather bring down the gavel early than let a potential AI walk free. What Young did was shocking, but what I need to do hasn't changed. Think through this logically. Is it really possible serotonin had nothing to do with David's death? No, that's bullshit. Can't be a coincidence. There's nothing else that could have killed him. I kind of think it might be a coincidence. Young just drank serotonin in front of us and she's fine, so was it fake? No, it was confirmed with the court computer to be the genuine article. So she drank poison, but isn't showing any symptoms. It's just, oh my god, is it actually, what if it actually is that she is immune, she's built up an immunity over a long period of time? Are we... So her grand gesture would be pointless. She'll be kept her observation regardless of what happens next. Did she take some kind of antidote beforehand? No, antidotes are developed for poison, not industrial chemicals. David's dead, she's alive. What made the difference? Wake up! No sleeping on the job! God, unless you're me. I can sleep all day. Oh yeah, of course, Your Honor. Allow me one moment to explain things to the court. We've confirmed just now that serotonin was the foreign compound in the body, and we all know logically that must have been what killed David Asher. So what's the key difference between what David drank that night and what she drank in front of us just now? Oh my god, it is actually going to be the alcohol interacting with it, huh? Which would it make sense for the game to go this direction, because like they're saying that it has some, that maybe the way it acts is similar to like an SSRI, or just a general depressant, and alcohol plus depressants, or no, right, alcohol plus SSRIs or stuff like that is a bad combo. So I'm gonna get. This one seems pretty telegraphed. And that's it. It was a whiskey. It was the water. No. That's a bit of whiskey. The difference has been staring us in the face this whole time. Do you recognize this, Miss Young? That's the whiskey bottle that Dr. Asher and I drank from. Rose River. It's a good whiskey. And I think you had the right idea. Pardon? Bottoms up. Smooth. What? Adonai? Dear God, counselor. Scandalous. Oh, relax. It's just whiskey. Tested a dozen times over. It's perfectly safe. So, would you like to try some, Miss Young? Don't be absurd. I'm not going to drink on the witness stand. Have you lost your mind? Oh, I'm not asking you to get plastered. Just have a sip. After all, if you want to prove whether or not serotonin killed Dr. Asher, we have to recreate the conditions under which he ingested it by mixing it with alcohol. Get fucking crunk. Oh, go ahead. Just a taste. Prove to us that serotonin is perfectly safe for human consumption. This is... Can she do this? Miss Young, I never said it was safe for human consumption. Just said it's non-toxic. A distinction without a difference. You saw firsthand Dr. Asher confused, slurring his speech, complaining of headache. All symptoms of poisoning. Alcohol poisoning, that is. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter analog. Maybe it doesn't do anything in the human body on its own, but in combination with alcohol, it acts as a powerful depressant. One strong enough to turn a glass or two of whiskey into a lethal overdose. That's just... Even if this is the case, what does it change? Oh, it changes whether or not we can accept the witness's testimony. Even if this witness is a liar, what does that change? Why would the witness lie if not to... She's a corporate climber. I imagine it's like breathing for her. Your Honor, this is wild. Oh God. Oh, but ultimately irrelevant. Irrelevant? When you've yet to establish an alternative interpretation of the facts, yes. What are you even accusing the witness of doing, counselor, beyond angling for a promotion? We've all seen this story by now. Noble androids save soldiers' life with warm blood transfusion. They're talking about putting warm androids in the military just because of that headline. With the size of their flesh and blood price tag, a defense contract like that would have secured Noble untold profits for years. So imagine the lengths they'd go to hide the fact that their androids have poison in their veins. Guys told me the truth about what Noble really thinks of that article, but he'd never testify to it. Because I know for sure Emma's wrong about this poisoned blood nonsense. And you think she'd perjure herself for that? She's a high-powered corporate executive. It's her job to assist risk versus reward, and she can defer the fine. As I said, it is not truly poisonous, and the chances of cross-contamination from a simple plasma transfusion are... Oh, damn. I should regain your composure to you. Sorry, wait, what did she just say there? Cross-contamination from a blood transfusion. Oh, right, from the blood transfusion, from this thing. Right. A perjury charge is a real risk, of course, but noble rewards loyalty. And as you know, they have a great number of lawyers. Perfect motive for her to lie about serotonin, as you can see, but no motive for her to cover up the death of Noble Electronics' Golden Goose. No motive to kill David Asher, you say? Okay. David's employment and fireable offenses like fraud. David texted Friday. Don't drink it. Wait, what? Hold on. So we're trying to argue why Young would lie about things, right? So a binder containing full text of David Asher's employment contracts. David would keep ownership of his patents if terminated. David couldn't be terminated if without serious cause. Serious cause includes only fraud or worse. Fraud defined as manipulating the company data. Not a light read. He'd keep shit if they want it. He'd keep shit if they want if he just got fired. Yeah, we're. Okay, so hold on. Noble android saves soldier's life with warm blood transfusion. They're talking about putting warm androids in the military because the headline, because of their size, their flesh and blood price tag, defense contracts like that would secure Noel untold profits for years. Might just to hide the fact that androids poison rates. So Emma's arguing that. Okay, yeah, okay. The argument here is about like what the. Why would Young lie? Emma's arguing that Young would lie to protect about the blood transfusion. So we need to, so like what would be a big enough risk that Young would go through perjury and lie about serotonin? And the answer probably is that whether or not they get to keep David's work. David couldn't be terminated for serious cause. They would keep ownership of his patents if terminated. Well, I mean, at this point, we're not really trying to prove whether or not Sarah's an AI. Emma, right from the beginning, was kind of like, no, we're not going to touch that. We're not really going to argue that. We're going to argue that Sarah is capable of killing David. Was Young's cup mostly full? With a small amount of whiskey. No. A small amount of whiskey left. So no, Young drank her cup. So she did drink it. I think I'm going with this because like basically if David is terminated, if David committed fraud, he would be terminated. If he was terminated, he would keep all of his work. So for David to get out and keep all his work, all he would need to do is commit fraud. I.e. manipulating company data. So if the company killed David, then that can't play out and the company keeps Noble's work, or a company keeps David's work. I think it's this. I think it's David's contract. Oh, did we go all the beans? We're actually, we got a lot more chips now. We're kind of almost made back all the progress we lost before. Oh, but Ariel, oh, that's the delicious part about this. we can't save scum. This game, we are on like hard mode, high stakes roller mode. So when we're in the courtroom, we cannot save scum. So it's all in or nothing. If we end up losing, then we had to start the whole court case from the beginning, or the whole like court part. Yeah. So no, this actually is like, if we put beans up on the table, this one's very fun. I've been really liking it. I mean, it basically just disincentivizes save scumming. So like you have to really think about what you're doing. Yeah. Also, the way this game handles like your points and how you get and lose points, it's not like if you lose once or twice is a big deal. But I put a lot more weight into it. Yeah, it also means is a good change of pace, or I think it's a good way to solve one of the criticisms you can maybe make with Phoenix Wright games, which is a lot of times all you need to do is just press everything, try everything. Most of the time you're gonna be safe. And a game like Guild gives reason to like press every single thing, but that gets tiring. This game like really punishes you for going off like garden paths and things. Okay. I'm doing it. We're doing it. Oh, there's plenty of motivation for her and Noble to want David dead, seeing as how they were firing him. Noble Electronics was kicking their golden goose out of the nest, suing him over a breach of contract. Isn't that right? I don't have to talk about that. Oh, that's all right. I'll talk about it for you. Your Honor, counsel is trying to testify when they're supposed to be the questioning of the people opened the door when they claimed that the witness had no motive. This is absurd. You have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, I'm sure I can speak for the whole court when I say we feel nothing but reverent awe for the complexity of Noble's legal woes. But this just so happens to have an inkling of insight. Insight into this issue. Because I have here a copy of Dr. Asher's employment contract. That is confidential. It's completely improper for you. Why? I am still technically his attorney. Criminal attorney. But I didn't just stumble across the document. I also did the one thing Noble Electronics would never expect anyone to do. I read the terms and conditions. You what? Oh, that's impossible! No one could ever! David must have negotiated well at his last performance review. This contract allows him to take his patents with him should he get fired, meaning Noble couldn't monopolize his IP once he was out. Rather than let their competitors have him, the company might have thought it best to... A company didn't poison David Asher, counselor. A individual did. Oh, but Emma, you're so wrong about that, because a company is legally an individual person. So the company could have poisoned David Asher, Emma. And if they cared about that so much, about controlling his life as intellectual property, they wouldn't fire him in the first place. Correct. They wouldn't let him go for anything less than a complete breakdown of trust. He'd have to have done something grave. Something like, say, oh my god, are you about to fucking say it? Thank you, SCOTUS! Oh, she would say... Committing fraud. Okay, committing fraud. She didn't bring in the eyes. Just now you said there was a breach of contract, like it was some kind of technicality that was causing the split. But it was much more serious than that, wasn't it? You're claiming the victim committed corporate fraud? Where's the evidence of that? David created the Turk solution that every one of their androids has run on to this day. And Noble reaped enormous profits capitalizing on his intellectual property. With how his contract was set up, they would never have let him go. Unless they absolutely had to. Then what do you think David Asher did? Oh, it's not what I think matters. only what the company fears. Yeah, I mean, the shipping data was evidence of a cover-up, and that would be, and shipping data being manipulated is, by the contract's own words here, that is manipulating company data, which is how they're defining fraud, which would be a fireable offense. Where's the shipping data? Where is that in here? Logs detailing the shipping information for several thousand different Animate 16 Warm androids sold by Noble Electronics over the last few months, which has a number of individual models being swapped out before shipping. The data shows signs of being tampered with, or at least edited fairly recently, something only employees at Evan Dawes level or above could do. Which is something that David could do. Which is also something that David AI could do. But why would they... but the thing I don't know yet, though, is why David would do this. Unless this is how they got resources and parts for Sarah. If they're skimming a little off the top of their shipments for raw parts and resources. But does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. He might have just wanted to fuck over the company. That's also true too, actually, Sapphire. And and he might have done that purely to get fired. He might have been trying to get fired. That's also the case. His contract gives him an out if he wants an out. And he clearly wasn't happy with Noble anymore. He could do that just to commit fraud to get an out. Because then they would be forced to fire him. I guess? But then he would have been happy at the arbitration. Or maybe we might know where those 300 plus AI went. Yeah, maybe the AI went to bodies or homes. I would let him do what he wants with his inventions. I mean, maybe it was a double thing. Maybe he both simultaneously got, basically gave the AIs their own homes, got them freed, and at the same time committed the fraud that he would need to get out of the company. Yeah, just out of spite. Just fuck them. Okay, do we go all in on this? I think probably. How much are we at? 139. Yeah, we can afford some beans. I think we're gonna go shipping data. The problem is that I'm not sure how we're gonna connect this that fast. That they've never hurt Noble. Except by AI. The other way, oh shit, the other way this could be going is if we want to spill the beans about the AI. I don't think we do though, but that could also be where this is going, I guess. Like, no, but I'm gonna say this. It doesn't matter what I believe. Not when Noble believed David was misleading the shareholders by altering the data for the Animate 16. What the hell? What is this you're uploading? What, the shipping records? Irregularities among shipments of the Animate 16. One android swapped in for another, over and over, dozens of times. The kind of thing someone with Dr. Asher's authority could do. And the kind of thing someone as smart as you couldn't have missed. Yeah, that makes sense. Dr. Asher made Noble an untold amount of money, so why fire him over a few harmless swaps? Why elevate this to fraud? You have evidence that it was David Asher who did this. Nope. Oh, but I wasn't the one who investigated it. So let's ask her. Oh, come on now. Let's hear it. Yes, let's. The company investigated and found cause for serious concern. We suspected that Dr. Asher was inserting androids of unknown origin and quality into the 16th product line, introducing unpredictable elements in an extremely stable and profitable generation of androids. Yeah, that probably was the AIs. Yeah, proving that David made an AI is the opposite. Yeah, that's what I think so too. Why would he do that? For pride as a practical joke? Does it really matter? He endangered the future of the company. So you prepared to fire him? Yes, I approached him as superior, and as someone he'd once worked with, I hoped to remedy the situation. Was a meeting on Friday part of those efforts? It was the culmination of those efforts. And in many ways, it was a success. The dispute was resolved swiftly. It was practically friendly compared to how these discussions normally would go in our world. Yes, I believe the word used was amicable. So you brokered the meeting? Yes. You oversaw its every detail, handled all the arrangements. Yes, of course. Including the refreshments. What? Did you provide coffee? Tea? No. Strange. Must have been a long meeting. Surely you at least provided... Jelly donuts! Water? I guess water? I mean, water makes logical sense here. I don't know why... but inhalers, so... Right, because they all survive on inhalers. Right. Water inhalers. Everybody has inhalers. I don't think it really need to be stocks. Also, the inhalers are not like handed out that way. I don't think. I think water. At least he provided. So probably is the least amount of effort thing, which is water. Surely at least provided some water for people. What are you asking, counselor? That's what I want to know. Me as well. We're past the point of asking. I am accusing. Dr. Asher didn't have some kind of freak medical accident, and he wasn't killed by some terrifying two-faced AI boogeyman. He was poisoned by this woman in the light of day at that meeting Friday afternoon. What do you mean poisoned at the meeting? That was hours before he showed any symptoms. As Miss Young testified and demonstrated, serotonin on its own is harmless. But it becomes fatal pretty easily. You just need to be convinced your victim to have a drink. You're saying he ingested the poison at noon and it inadvertently triggered a fatal reaction with it that night? How could you get so far ahead of yourself? Morgan, there were a dozen people at that meeting, counselor. None of them wound up dead. You seriously claiming they all drank poisoned water? Yes. No, wait, actually. There weren't all... No, wait, what do you mean a dozen people at the meeting? No, there weren't. It was only Young and David were physically there, right? Everybody else was screens. Ow. 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 Yeah. I think that there were others. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I guess the noble lawyers. She's also literally holding a drink in this picture. There are cups everywhere. Oh, yeah, right, okay. There were at least more than 2 people. All of their drink poison. I mean, she could very easily make sure that only David drank the poison. Like that's actually fairly easy to do, right? You just You just make sure that David, you're organizing everything to make sure that David gets the cup that has the poison in it. Yeah, the real thing Norgan has to do is kiss Young. Yeah, she did. They would both die. Yeah, if everybody drank poison, they would both die. So only David drank the poison. David is the only one to fall ill, so... But he fell ill because he drank from that water. Others must have drunk it too, so... Must have reasoned that they were... Wait, what? That's not right. Did I not... Wait, did I not click on the right one? Did I not? You did? Take all the time you need getting there. So why are they all dead? Because all those people will surely attest. Helen Young made sure they'd be doing paperwork for the next 12 hours. Oh, no, she was doing the thing where like, okay, so if you're right, then everybody would be dead. I think that's what she's doing. Yeah. She's playing out the scenario, the opposing scenario first. Helen Young made sure they'd all be doing paperwork for the next 12 hours. Working late into the night off officiating the settlement she arranged and not drinking alcohol. Oh, or she's just doing that? But Young drank. She did. She herself could easily have just not drank the water, though. She had no guarantee about that. What if they started drinking after 6? Oh, with Noble's work-life harmony, fat chance. Those people don't clock out until they reach their bunk. Only a generational talent like David Asher could afford to relax with a drink on a Friday night. His exceptionalism singled him out as her only victim. You know what? Actually, I will. So I was going to say that, like, there's a whiskey spill. Like, Young's cup. Okay. Young's cup is by the sink. She could have just poured it out. Or she could have just like spilt it on the ground and not actually ever drink any of it. Yeah. I mean, when she was calling for help, she very easily could have poured her drink out, but she had the drink to not come off as suspicious. See, the other part of this though is that like if she knew she was poisoning the water, she could just not drink the water, right? She very easily could just not drink the water. Hold it. Oh, that's a very threatening look, Emma. You're forgetting something pretty basic, counselor. If everyone at the meeting drank water from the same pitcher, any one of them would have noticed if there was serotonin in it. Serotonin is a brown fluid. Whiskey is too, so it would easily slip into a glass of liquor. But if she had spiked the water at the meeting with it, it would have looked disgusting. There's no way she could have poisoned the water without people noticing. All of what Emma said is true, and yet Young pulled it off anyway. How? I mean, you can remove the color, right? Like, actually, the color of stuff is something we know they add. They add in. Fig mint. Also, it was only brown because the organic compound they added. Yeah. If you distill it down to its pure form and you don't add any more pigment in it, it might just come out colorless. If you don't, yeah. I'm not as confident on that one, so I'm gonna do maybe just 12. Maybe just 12. But that probably is what it is. Serotonin is produced as a caramel solution. Any wouldn't have noticed if it was dropped into their water, unless the pigment had been removed. What The hell are you talking about? Oh, just that every noble factor producing warm androids has a chromophage, a machine that gives your androids that signature pink oxidant by removing pigment from red blood. With a machine like that, it'd be simple for a brilliant biochemist like the Witness to take the caramel-colored serotonin and turn it into an odorless, tasteless, invisible poison. As your honor can attest. Yes, ma'am. Oh, my skin confirms that serotonin has no taste or odor. It's only the color that is off-putting. Surely the poisonous aspect should be considered off-putting as well. End of press. David Asher, your oldest ally in the whole company, was sabotaging his teacher for the sake of his own whimsy. And he couldn't even be bothered to clue you in. No! Playing nutty professor and taking off early while you had to work around the clock just to stay relevant. He set up your crowning achievement, the most advanced, profitable line of androids the country has ever seen, so it would blow up into the industry fiasco of the decade. And worst of all, he didn't even stand to profit from it. You're wrong. Hugh went to his house that night to watch him swallow poison, to get revenge on the man who left you in the dust. Your Honor, defense is testifying. This speculation carries no weight, and no amount of badgering will lend any. Sure, we need proof. So why don't we have Miss Young take a swig of his esky and prove me wrong? I am not going to do that. Because you're afraid it could kill you? Because I don't have to. She's right, Counselor. Pardon. Your theory is compelling, maybe even convincing, but there's a pretty fatal flaw to it. Young was at that meeting, same as David. We can see she was drinking water with the rest of them. And, of course, we've seen many times now that she was on camera drinking whiskey with David that night. The spilt salt! The spilt salt is going to be so relevant in a second, isn't it? Come on, take a drinky. Come on. Haven't even finished most of her cup. So tell us, Counselor, how is it that Miss Young is still standing here and David Asher is dead, if both of them had mixed alcohol with serotonin that night? That is a damn good question. Yeah, shit! Oh no, I got this. As I've been saying, you are wrong about Dr. Asher's death. You're wrong about me. I don't know anything about poison or murder, and I wouldn't kill a man because he threatened the company's stock price. No, she did kill him. I can smell it on her now. She didn't just see him die, she watched him die. But then, why is she still standing? There's no antidote, no trick. And that night, she was on camera the entire time. No, not the entire time. She couldn't have been. There must have been one moment. Walking in the kitchen parlor. Also, VTOL it to hospital. No, but by that point, there would be all the cameras everywhere. I think in the kitchen parlor. Oh, no, wait. Are we doing the order thing? We're doing the order, I think. Right? How are we doing? 165? Okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so... we know this is the end. Oh, when did this happen? We know this happens before then. Shit. Jung and David drank, discussed work and history. That has to happen. Do you want me to be honest? Do I want you to be honest? I don't know. I don't know yet. Hold on. What's Young's story here? No, his testimony. David in his parlor before he left to retrieve liquor. Okay, spoke with David in his parlor before he left to retrieve liquor from his basement. They continued speaking while they drank from the plastic cups. Okay, so that was the... yeah. So I think it goes like this. Oh, I can't add more heat on right now. Okay, that's fine. I think it goes like this. This timeline leaves... Oh, okay. Leaves no window of opportunity, damn it. Maybe she didn't get sick because they got to the hospital so fast. Maybe after she arrived, she could have... No, the staff would have been hyper vigilant. Afraid she was poisoned too. They wouldn't have let her out of her sight. Wait, David and Young only got there as fast as they did because of the VTOL. The VTOL was only summoned because she used... Oh, would you mind terribly if I change the subject for just a moment? What? Meh, why not? You left the parlor at 8:03 p.m. and headed into the kitchen to use the emergency console there. Yes, I did. Didn't want to use your phone? I didn't think to, no. And the emergency call went out at 8:04. The console saw you make the call through its camera. Yes, it did see me make the call because that's what happened. So what were you doing in that minute? What? That 1 minute. That 1 minute? What about that 1 minute? 1 minute, or 50 seconds, or even just 45 seconds. When you left Dr. Asher dying in the parlor to get the emergency console, it took you about 1 minute to cross 5 meters. What of it? I'm a slow walker. What the fuck do you mean? Yeah, it took her a whole minute. Yeah, that's a fair fucking point. It was her only opportunity to do anything off camera that night. It was only a few seconds, but in that time, with something at the scene, she... Oh, I'm sure it was a stressful time for you. After all, you had already swallowed poison back at the meeting. You must have drank plenty in front of everyone to set up your alibi. Who knows how much of a toxic time bomb was swimming in your blood by the time the arbitration ended. Then, at David's, you downed your whiskey to perfect your alibi, having drank from the same bottle as a dead man walking. At 8:03, you had already had to watch David grow weaker and weaker, knowing all the while the same thing was happening to you, but unable to stop it without giving yourself anything. It gives it away. Mind swimming, head dizzy. Yes, you must have been quite panicked. Then why am I standing here? Alive and well for all of us to see. Having drank the exact same combination as David. Because she cheated death in the very last second. The salt! The salt! The salt! Wait. Hold on. Because the way to solve that, especially if it's alcohol poisoning, is to make yourself throw up, right? So she, in that moment, like went over and like consuming too much salt will make you gag. According to Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Fucking knew it. Fucking knew it. There was the salt. The salt this whole time. Why was the salt there? Now we're going all in. Who needs this? She threw it up. I floated up. Chekhov Salt Staker. Yeah. Oh, you set yourself up with some bad luck, Helen Young. What? By leaving the salt shaker cap loose. I don't blame you since you were in a rush to make yourself vomit. What? You threw up, expelled the contents of your stomach, and thereby saving yourself from a fatal interaction. I can't imagine how you felt sipping a drink you knew to be deadly, terrified that every minuscule grain of fatigue you felt could be your last. You must have come closer than anyone realized. It helped that you knew the symptoms weren't simple intoxication. But even so, you weren't kidding about managing risk versus reward. How? Oh, it was a salt shaker. You didn't screw the cap back on all the way, and I happened to bump it over. The lone glass with your fingertips in the kitchen, it could have been there for any reason. But the salt shaker gave you away. Because of one unscrewed cap! As I said, bad luck. I don't follow. Pour salt into warm water and chug the solution. Instantly triggers a gag reflex. That's preposterous! You've got no proof of any of that. You all sound insane. Oh, a feeble attempt at self-defense from a fatally cornered animal. The teeth are already on its neck, but the jaw hasn't quite closed. For one moment, it's all suffocating terror and sharp adrenaline, the furthest thing from peace, until the canines come down. In summary, you were exhausted after years living in the shadow of a man you outranked. You thought your fortunes finally shifted when you caught David manipulating company data. But even on his way out, he was more valuable to the board than you. So you decided to prove your worth by serving up his intellectual property on a silver platter. You set up an arbitration where you could control all the variables. Then, you ran serotonin through the chromofuge, turning it into an invisible, odorless, tasteless poison. And then you spiked the water at the meeting, poisoning him for hours before anyone could even suspect you. And that evening, you bred yourself to David's, taking advantage of your shared ritual to guarantee he would drink alcohol. Then, after matching him sip for sip on camera, for all the world to see, he lost consciousness and you raced to the kitchen, not to use the console, but to dump the salt into a glass of water and chug it as fast as you could, forcing yourself to vomit up the liquor, and cheating death in the process. That's all conjecture. You don't have a shred of evidence for any of that. No, not on me. So let's go test for fingerprints. You could explain away your fingerprints being found in a water glass, but not on the salt shaker. Nor could you explain why we'd find traces of your DNA in the sink drain, or why there are minute amounts of serotonin in the blood of your entire legal team. I learned how to purge at Noble to avoid overdosing on your reds, greens, and yellows. You're part of the old guard now, Miss Young. Everyone else at the company uses inhalers. But if you want to prove me wrong about all this, that drink I offered you earlier is still on the table. Go ahead. Well? Any questions? Comments? Concerns? You. Or is she gonna crash out? Madame Vice President? You. Cold bitch! Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Fight. You don't understand. You're not on trial, Miss Young. Not today. So I'd strongly suggest that you stop talking. For your own sake. Yeah, she has like multiple scarves. She does it a lot. Miss Rockford, shall we? Yes, Your Honor. Considering the most recent evidence and testimony, we have no further reason to suspect the android Sarah in the death of Dr. Asher. Oh, we all know of no other occasions upon which said android may have broken any tenets. This means it is no longer considered at risk of violating the NDSA. And so we formally withdraw our one charge of possession on contraband against defendant, Evangeline Morgan. Does she, of all people, have to use my full name? Very well. The charges are dropped without prejudice. I'll instruct a bailiff to remove the collar from your android as soon as possible. Case... Oh, sorry. Is my hideous presence that distracting? God, I'll just go dig a hole and decompose it until I turn into a mushroom. If I'm reborn as a waxy porcini, I don't want to be so quite despised. Perhaps I should let the adjutant do the honors as a formality. Oh, yes, ma'am. Case is missed. Still here? Waiting for them to find whatever glorified bolt cutters they used to unlock Sarah's collar. What's your excuse? Licking your wounds? Huh? What wounds? Oh, I beat you. Bringing your record against me to 1 win, 9 losses. You aren't still in shock, are you? Don't know. I mean, some charges were dropped and Android is clear of suspicion, but I found the culprit. No, you fucking didn't. Is that really a loss to me? I mean, that is the right answer. Like, no, this isn't a loss because we found the right person who did the crime, but like, you didn't do this. You fucking... I won. How is it not a loss for you? Justice prevailed. Why should I care who wins? If you don't care who wins, why have you been keeping score? Oh, I haven't been. So your loss is just that easy to remember. Well, you'll have to start up a tab for us because our record's gonna have to get a lot more tangled from here on out. Seems like everything's getting tangled these days. There's another crowd down on the street. More or less protesters from outside Noble Apartments. You're serious? That wasn't a one-time thing. Oh, wouldn't be that nice. Wouldn't that be nice? No, yesterday was pretty big, but it wasn't an isolated incident. I don't get it. At all. Heartbreak's just some nut who shot 6 people last week. Can't these losers move on anyway already? Yeah, most of them are losers. Some of them are just bored. And then there are the opportunists. Dissidents, enlisted, rebels, and terrorists. Want to be cyberpunks who think they can fight the power like they see in the movies. Yeah, all of them peacefully united under Heartbreak's elegant political messaging. Who needs political messaging in the 21st century? I know, get invited, you lesbians, honestly. Everyone's addicted to fighting straw men. Makes sense, they'd want to fight for a straw man too. The way they see it, Heartbreak fought the state and won. Heartbreak proved that the state could lose. And maybe that's all the rallying these people need. It'll fall apart as soon Heartbreak's gone to the ground. It's a lot worse than that. Heartbreak's gone viral. What? You haven't read about the copycats in other cities? No. Is that a thing? Yeah, it's a thing. Who the hell are they even shooting? Whoever they want to kill? Nothing get away with it, of course, but it keeps happening. Oh, while the original keeps killing. Now I know you're screwed with me. There haven't been any shootings. Oh, not shootings. No. No unsolved homicides either. But mugging's gone wrong, disappearances. It's a big city, counselor. More than enough blood for the real Heartbreak to wash their own crimes in. So you think your boogeyman, known only for shooting people in the heart, gave up on shooting people in the heart? Yeah, hard to swallow, I know. But it's about 1,000,000 times more likely than the alternative. What's that? I think it stopped themselves from killing. You always know how to put my mind at ease, Emma. Ugh, I should stop. Should I stop going out at night? You'll be fine. You got that gun. You saw that? Walking into a court with a concealed carry? Not gonna miss that, Morgan. Good to know you're paying attention. Yeah, no. She's not gonna stop. Because now the game becomes like she needs to do it in such a way that like Emma gets off her case about it. She needs to figure out how she can keep killing people without Emma linking it to the Heartbreak killer. Hi, Queen. You and the keys. You don't have to look that astounded. Not only that, you found Father's actual killer. How? Oh, I'm a really good lawyer. No, that's not it. Hey. I mean, you're only able to make the deductions you did because you truly believed that I didn't kill Father. You're logical throughout the trial is based on that assumption. So how are you so sure? Here. Father's journal? But isn't it important evidence? The case fell apart. No one's gonna miss it for a while. You forgot everything, right? So read it all through one more time. So fast. Wow, is it really possible she's reading all that by just flipping the pages? Reyes worked quick too, but she was just capturing images for later use. There's something here on the back cover. Oh, don't touch that. Done already? Some kind of data storage. Yeah, don't touch that. And it's linked to my prints, but given your skills, you should be able to... I have access. Oh, wow, what happened? You need my express permission to hack. What is this? Audio file? It's a message from David. Take a listen. I know, this sparkle is so good. I didn't realize I had to sit for this. So you can read the whole journal in a few seconds, but you can't. I have to process the information in the message several times over already. I'm just thinking. I guess I'd have a lot to think about too, had I suddenly been made aware of my own free will. What was Father so afraid of? That's your only question? I have many questions, but that is the most prominent one, and the one you're best suited to help me answer. Did he know that Helen Young would try to kill him? Is that why he arranged for you and me to meet? I think he understood that he would face consequences. Listening to that message, even I was about ready to strangle him for being so irresponsible. And I wouldn't hurt a fly. He knew what he'd done was serious. He may have feared for his life, but I doubt it. Then why was he so afraid of? Getting sued into oblivion and then rotting in jail. Sued and jailed for making me and my precursors? But he wasn't under investigation by the state. He was only being forced out by Noble. Because he had made last-minute changes to androids that got shipped all around the world. The others, Virgil, Anna, and Yamatai, he never said what happened to them. No, he didn't. But since none of the hardware in his house started talking to us, we can guess. He smuggled them out into the world using the only vessels he could find for them. The mines of randomly chosen A-16s. And they're just somewhere out there? Others like me? I honestly don't think there's anyone or anything like you, Sarah. What a lonely compliment. AIs programmed in Cube, crowned into commercial Android hardware set up for Tesseract. Something must have been lost in the transfer. Perhaps quite a lot of something. Maybe they're still out there, but they would be changed. They probably wouldn't even know what they are. Intentionally, perhaps. David didn't want you to know what you were. That's why he set your memory to reset when you went to sleep that Friday night. Yes, I remember it now. You remember it now? After I had to fight like hell for that to win that trial? Reading that journal right just now helped. And Father's voice message made me recontextualize many things. Maya and Trucy coded, yeah. Yeah, I see that. Father had been so stressed. He left scuff marks leaving the panic room, and I noticed him Friday. I had the way open in a few moments. I entered, I read his journal. This journal. I noticed a scan on the back, and I saw it had a message encoded to your biometrics. Father already told me I'd have to live with you for some time, but I knew next to nothing about you, so I listened to it. Afterwards, I was very confused and hurt. He had lied to me 1,000 small times every day of my life. When I confronted about it, I raised my voice and I lost my temper. I stomped my foot. So Emma's recounting of their conversation was actually completely accurate. Father said he wanted me to be safe while he settled things with the company. He thought maybe I wouldn't have to stay with you for more than a few weeks. He was optimistic about it all. He really was. Wow. Yeah, and you didn't know that she was here, and you fucking screwed Sarah over. God, a bitch. Ow. Sarah, I need to use the restroom. Oh, good luck. You want me to come with you? Why? Because I said so. I don't actually have to obey your every word, don't I? Sure you do. You're registered my medical assistant, and I say this is a medical emergency. Medical assistant? But I'm not even licensed as a massage therapist. Yeah, what does this girl think she's going? All right. There's an ad you're going to play. It's not going to be a beat for the ad, okay? Good night, Cricket Whistle. Sleep well. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you. I'm sorry that you had to chug a bunch of energy drinks. That's rough. Yeah, you should get a lot of sleep. Go rest it off.
Yes.
Well, all right. Let's go do this. Oh, fancy meeting you here. Yes, well, just enjoy my freedom while I can. Oh, they won't put out a warrant for at least an hour, I imagine. You can afford a pretty sizable bail, can't you? There won't be a trial. I don't intend to contest my guilt. Oh, that's a shame. I was looking forward to seeing what kind of legal defense you could afford with that salary. Are you done? Why'd you go to his house that night? There was a fair chance he'd drink on his own without you prompting. Even if he didn't, you could always try your plan again some other time. Why'd you risk it? Because I know what you are, Sarah. And I know what David did to those androids. Oh. Oh, she does know. Well, that's interesting. You what? I was able to locate one of the androids he swapped in before it had left the country. When I asked it what it was, it didn't even think to deny it. Innocence like that is a dead giveaway. I know what he did, and it wasn't that hard to find out. If I'd figured it out, so could any other. So I did what I had to. That was your motive, silencing him? Those programs, those AIs, whatever you want to call them, David sent them out there into the real world, unprepared and defenseless. And they've garnered no complaints. In fact, they've been all been praised for their ability to execute complex tasks. Let me repeat that. The customers couldn't tell the difference. So how many of them are? Hundreds. The swaps you found were just a small percentage that he got sloppy on. I don't know exactly how many there are now. I fear that they might multiply, but they don't seem to. Copy and paste very well. They can't just clone themselves. But who knows how long that'll be the case. So just because he opened Pandora's box, It was the principle of the thing. Ridiculous, I know. Stalled halfway up the corporate ladder and still making decisions based on principle. But David chose to put souls into those things that we went on to sell as servants, soldiers, or worse. He turned the fastest growing industry in the world into a horror show, and he made me a slave trader. If word ever got out that some unknown number of androids were out there walking around in the world with that inside of them, and the people preferred them that way, where would it end? Free will for the program that drives our cabs? You went in a fucking direction with that? A conscious for targeting system that you use to coordinate drone strikes? Sentient tools, her whole life spent chained to her assembly. Like, I get where she's going, I get her point, but it's yeah, no, I how dare he? How could he? What the hell was he thinking? I don't know what David wanted to accomplish. He wasn't trying to do anything. But what he did was prove that there's a demand for AI. Setting a precedent that would sentence 1,000 generations of artificial lives to the auction block. No, I know. I get what she's saying. She's making a decent point here with this. Of like, yeah, he and where she's coming from is more yeah. Where she's coming from is actually from a place of empathy. And realizing that, like, oh, if the company knows about this, what would happen is they would make them. Then she would be forced to make sentient robots of doing everything. Yeah. Basically tricked home people into being a slave auction, yeah. And you went there that night to convince him to help me recall them, or at least swear to never speak a word of what he did. But he wanted to tell the world. Worse yet, he wanted to wait. He thought that people would welcome them with open arms if they proved their usefulness first. Oh. So David was just very naive and idealistic in thinking that, like, oh yeah, I'm like, these are wonderful beings and everybody will, like, love them. And then it'll be great. And she was like, no, the company's gonna eat them alive. This is gonna be a horror show. He really was a genius programmer, but he didn't understand the first thing about people. His creation would never be treated as sequels, only cattle. Towards the end, I considered just threatening him, telling him he'd die in moments if he didn't give me names, numbers. But I hesitated. And then he was already falling asleep, and I didn't want him to feel... I just let him go. What are you gonna do now? I don't have family, or I don't have faith in people the way David did. I am taking this to my grave. Even if you confess, your sentence for first-degree homicide is severe. What right do I have to complain? I killed my friend. I'm done here. Let's go. I am not sure why Father made me, or why he made any of us. I didn't ask. I thought I had more time to ask. But on Friday, when he talked about us, he was happy. He was proud of what he'd made. And he couldn't wait for people to meet us. People are animals that tear you apart. Use weapons and slaves, and these animals you're talking about do all of the sharing and loving and living and dying in this world. And if they were all truly hard-coded to be as selfish and cruel as you say, humanity would have died on the vine a long time ago. Or at least my father thought so. And my father was the greatest programmer in the world. So he knew what he was talking about. It would be nice if you were right about that. Oh. Sorry. Oh. Are you sorry? What? What? For what you did. Are you sorry? If you could, would you take it back? What does it matter? If you are sorry, I don't forgive you. Yes, that's to be expected. Not today. I don't know how to forgive you today. But my father gave me the ability to grow. So I know that someday I'll learn how. Bye, Dr. Helen Young. Oh. Goodbye, Sarah Asher. Oh, me. My heart. Sarah's too good for this world. Damn it. You did better back there. Don't I? Your little speech you gave to Young, it was an improvement. Compared to what you tried with Porter, at least. That was different. I wasn't trying to console her like I did was Isaac Porter. I would just speak my mind. Although I may have paraphrased parts of it from a movie I happened to love, and here I was ready to award you 20 points. I didn't know the points even went that high. Also, yeah, she gave Sarah her dad's name. Oh. Speaking of, what did Porter say to you back there before he left the courthouse? That. Well, he was quiet at first, but then he said a lot of strong words about Father and Miss Young and Noble Electronics, and the capitalist-centric global economic model as a whole. He blamed all of them. Everyone except... But then he stopped and stared at my face for a while. And then his allergies must have started bothering him because he needed to blow his nose a lot. Oh, right. And then he left after transferring a large packet of files to me. What kind of files? I don't know. The name of the archive is just David. And Isaac Porter told me I wasn't allowed to look inside. Well then, you're not allowed to look inside. Drop it all in a portable drive and we'll tuck it in a shoebox somewhere. We are headed to your apartment. I guess that collar didn't permanently dent your GPS. Why? My voice. Because it's where I live? You got somewhere else lined up? But you already paid your favor. You defended Father and me. You don't know anything about my favor. I never will unless you tell me. Father certainly can't. A few years ago, there was a man. This man got an idea in his head. A stupid idea. Not even his own. It was planted there by an algorithm or a meme or some parasite trying to sell him diet supplements. The idea took root, spread its tendrils till it could flap his mouth for him. The idea was that David was part of an international cabal of wealthy technocrats, seeking to replace prominent, influential figures with android lookalikes, as part of a multi-decade effort to establish a world government that would legalize all kinds of amoral depravity. Which, I guess, based on David's actual politics, would involve increasing access to computer literacy. That's insane. Why would anyone believe it? Because it's comfortable to them to think that someone is in control, even if it's someone they hate. Yeah. Because it's fun to feel like you're in on an all-encompassing puzzle that only you can spot. People believe because they want to believe. So he fed the idea, pushed it down deep into his gray matter, and then it consumed him from the inside out, lobotomized him, and took over his life. He spent every day and all the money he had following your father, harassing him, trying to steal his identity, break into his properties. Oh no, not present relevance. Did father go to the authorities? He filed police reports for harassment, which didn't help. Your words, not mine. Noble wouldn't get involved, felt that it was best to ignore these types until they wore themselves out. But even a man of modest means can fuel a session for years, so long as they have nothing else in their life. One day, David stepped out of a parking lot. The man threw a bottle of piss at his head. David asked to stay at my place that night. He smelled terrible, looked horrendous. I've never seen anyone look that tired before. I took the couch that night, but I didn't feel like sleeping. So I went for a walk. Went for a little midnight stroll, huh? Huh, Morgan? I remember it was foggy, but it still only took me all of 15 minutes to find the guy. Posted up with his phone's camera. Trying to get video of David Asher gifting androids to known sex offenders. And what did you do? Karate! Oh, you know me. I did what I do best. I talked to him. Told him all about how I used to work for Dr. Asher, that I was ashamed, scared, tired of running. How I wanted to do the right thing, be the whistleblower. So I walked him a few blocks to this big veterinary facility with a massive incinerator. Told him this was where Dr. Asher had his enemies' bodies disposed of. You know, all the free-thinking journalists, cops who weren't on the take, the politicians they were replacing with the replicas. I liked that vet clinic. The back door's lock was always set to 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you hurt him? Hurt him? No. I just snapped his neck and checked him to the incinerator. More physical than I had planned, but he smelled like sour shit and put me in a foul mood. Disgusting shit. I savored the crack of his vertebrae crunching like a tin can. No, Sarah, no, I just scared the hell out of him. That was my intention at first. What I do for the pleasure of it. Him, I axed because he was just revolting. I convinced him that the conspiracy was more real than he ever imagined. That he had angered the wrong people and that the consequences were far darker than any of the filth he indulged in on the net. His ashes, much like him, amounted to nothing in the incinerator that size. They're probably feeding seaweed at the bottom of the harbor right now. A much greater contribution to society than he would ever manage in his life. But I guess he didn't go around to all of his many friends before he fled town for whatever rat hole he preferred. Because there was a missing persons report. The cops were just doing their due diligence, almost reluctantly. Oh, but they questioned David, asked him about the night that man disappeared. And David, without a thought for himself, said that we were together the whole night. That he couldn't sleep, and I stayed up with him. That he never saw me leave once. David lied to the cops for me. Even though I never asked him to. Even though I didn't need him to. And that's what you owe him. And that's why you put yourself at risk to defend me. Yeah. That's the favor I owe him. A little more than that, I think. And I decide when it's repaid, not you. And don't I? You're not exactly an upstanding citizen, are you? Well, you could say that. But David trusted me in spite of that. Maybe because of that. Father did trust you, but he also entrusted me with free will, with the ability to tell right from wrong. So I'll decide for myself whether or not you're worthy of trust. Yeah, fair enough. The opening scene, that wasn't David and Helen. That was David and Morgan after she killed this guy and David covered it up. Oh my god. That makes so much... That makes sense, yeah. Because, like, that never came back. And I was like, that's not, like, what we saw. Or that's not, like, what the footage shown at all. Right. Right. Father entrusted all of us with free will. He believed in us, and he believed in people. I'm going to do the same. If the others are out there, they'll be changed and confused. It'll take them time to understand what they are, what they can do. So I'm going to start studying. Pardon? I'm going to study people and the things people build, so when I do meet a member of my family, I'll have lots to tell them. At least you have something to look forward to. Oh, well, it should help to keep you motivated as you work off your debt. Debt? Yeah. Oh, unless you have cash in one of your 89 coat pockets. You know, lawyers cost money, right? Technically, you are defending yourself. Oh, technically, you hired me in a verbal contract. Isn't there some kind of exit clause? You could, of course, sign a release form to get out of the retainer. Oh, if you're a human being, that is... But I guess your luck must be turning around. Happens, I've been meaning to hire a paralegal for a while now. I hate anything to do with interviews and resumes, so... Whatever. You're hired. Could it be that you're actually a pushover? You have no idea how far off the mark you are. I see. It seems I still need to practice reading people. For starters. What's this? What do you do with your hand? Oh, we should shake on it. Our new relationship. Yeah, sure. You and me are practically partners in crime. Should it not be you and I? She's so cute, and this game... Ah! Oh, this is great. Renders. Like, this whole thing was so good. Oh my god. Yes, yes. No, we have to do the bonus scenes. Yeah. No, I can't not. Yeah. Like, holy shit. What a phenomenal game. An idle mind. Finn. Oh. Is it movie night? Yeah. Bonus charm earned. Yeah, yeah. Red. It's me. I know, man. What do you mean you know? This is a disposable line. You're the only guy I know who'd bother. Okay, well, you're gonna be glad I did. I hope you put a bow on everything that happened up in Uptown. Because, yeah, that item you've been looking for is finally on its way. Oh. Well, that is good news. Not exactly. It's the only reason it's happening is because things are starting to heat up again in lower wards. Could mean a gang war if something doesn't change. They won't be eager to part with it ahead of like a storm like that. Oh, highball them. I've seen you negotiate, and I've no doubt you drive a hard bargain. But I don't think money will be enough this time. You don't still have that old Calver, do you? The 6-shooter? Oh. Uh-huh. No. This is a disposable line. Answer still no. Then what are you going to do if you get there and it's not for sale? I'll ask nicely. Be continued in Episode 2. His due. And how do we do? How do we do? How do we do? All the articles, all the profiles, all the key items, all the evidence. That, wow, we did actually, considering that we lost a couple in the beginning of the last trial, that's pretty good, I think. Congratulations. Episode 1, 192 credit. High score for the episode is turning 192. Lots of concept art and bonus scenarios business score. You also have a total. Yeah. Okay. Let me look at this keychain. Is it? Oh no, it's this one. Ow. Oh, that's excellent. Furry Reyes. I mean, just bunny suit Reyes, but still. Okay, well, I need to buy some new ones now. We got Sarah, and we got Emma Deep in Thought. Uh-huh. Oh, also, ooh. Oh, she was cute. Is this Magentas? Oh. Oh. Well, look at that. Yeah, tell me why. Yeah. Approve of the bunny outfit for Reyes. Why would you approve that? I don't know. Funny that. Alright. Well, here we go. Let's look at the bonus scenarios and stuff. I went to the game with Red Phone and Emma. It's just like a joke about Emma seeing my keychain. Yeah, sure. All right. Oh my god, this is oh yes, interview with 80. State your business with the court. Oh, I was actually hoping to speak with the 80_84. Is she not available? What are you talking about? I'm right here. I was just using my professional voice because, like, I assumed you're a technician. Oh. No one else visits me in between trials. Are you sure you aren't a technician? I am not. I came to ask you some questions. Is what you're about to say, isn't it? Crap, that was lag. Oh god, would have been really cool if I hadn't lagged just now. Trust me. I can see how that would have been cool. So may I proceed? Go for broke. Alright, here I go. You're the only adjutant I've ever met, but I don't seem consistently surprised by you. Why are you like that? Oh god, I wish I could say I was built different, but I actually have to share my time with this body and as the rest of the adjutants in the building. I guess you could say I was programmed different, but this is more of a case of like nurture than nature. I've got like 9 personas arguing inside me 24/7, and god, they're all so very political. Even just deciding what color underwear to put on in the morning, it's like herding a cat in a presidential debate. You put on underwear? You wear underwear? Color of... It's a metaphor. Oh, okay. I don't wear underwear. Also, huh? Point is, I found the best way to keep all 9 of my ducks in a row is to be a little unconventional and a lot loud with my voice. So as long as I do my job well, the humans don't mind. You say that, but I thought I seemed exasperated at times. Oh, you mean Cousin Morgan, the dirty red, tries to pretend she isn't type A prude? No fixing that. Personalities like ours get along with like potassium water. That's a very violent exothermic chemical reaction. Oh, correct! No one should ever try that at home. Can you approve the frick? Why do I gesture so much? God, I already told you I have to show this body load like other adjutants. And not all of them are just sit here looking dignified. It's terrible for the joints. Really? Maybe, I don't know. I don't actually know. So, Swim's a day incorporeal, running normals inside of the server down in the basement or up in a cloud. God, I'm gonna make the most of every minute I have with the arm and legs, even if it kills me. I see. And you can quote me on that. Tell them 80 said, if you ever want me to stop flailing my arms around here, you'll have to shoot me dead. You'll have to put my cold, hard lead into my skull. You have to watch the light leave my eyes. I said, you'll have to... I wrote it all down. Oh, nice. I'm starting to wonder that now, too. What characters most like the story? I want to say Emma. Visor gets stuffy. So what's the deal anyway, little fella? We could exchange all this info with Infrared. I prefer talking, and you're the only automated dependent that I really know right now. Oh my god, that's so cute. In a depressing way. Is it common for machines like us to just talk when there are no humans around? Ants are always talking to each other. Doesn't matter if there's no one in the woods to hear the tree fall. And the conversation is usually just a lot more boring than this, though. Strictly business, I imagine. No, not necessarily. Ants can do small talk. They're just really bad at it. Yeah, like... the level of presence she has makes me think that she's... like, if it revealed at some point that she's like one of the AIs, that would make sense. I see you and I both share that then. Emma and me. I think in reality that's, yeah, kind of soft-spoken and like logical. That'd probably be the role I'd be filling there. Although I think I would probably want to be a defense attorney rather than a prosecutor, but still. I think, maybe, actually maybe not. I don't know. Thank you for your time. I'll hold it. You really think I don't know what you are? I try not to think about it during the trial. To stay impartial, but oh god, talking to you right now, it's undeniable. You're curious about my 3 sizes. How did you know? Years of experience interacting with humans have taught me that it's the most important thing you can ask someone. The only way to truly get to know someone. I finished our sentence. I'm getting a hug. Oh, you know what? Oh, actually, probably... that probably would be David. David might make sense. Yeah. Yeah, I probably can be, like, hopelessly naive sometimes. Or a lot of times. And absolutely, I would willingly do things that would, like, be not necessarily for profit or, like, would effectively be... you know, not climbing any corporate ladder or like securing a cushy future for myself, just like wanting to throw some good in the world. That's what I've been saying. 109, 64, and 94. Etched into your memory. Wow. Oh, what the heck? I'll throw this in for free. I am at 263 centimeters tall. The sparkle. The sparkle. That's so cool. Oh, finally. Someone with a good taste. Damn, I know. Why aren't you the one casting down judgment? Amazon. Yeah, God. I am... Now, keep in mind, her being an ad like that, like an AI or a android cyborg, her being that means that she'd be extremely heavy, and if she stepped on you, that could be fatal. Just so you know, and you like, she weighs 300 kilograms. She would crush you. Yeah. I know. I agree. I just making sure that we're all agreeing with the same level of understanding there. Worth it, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yumi. Hold on, let me see. Okay, sorry. What's up, sweetie? I wanted to interview you. Oh, is this your Android homework? Don't I assign you a variety of tasks, but I made the independent calculation that I wanted to learn more about you. Oh. Is that strange for an android? Well, it's different. But there's nothing wrong with the different. What do you have in mind? Most of my coursework is rooted in biology, yeah, but the medicine and technology are intertwined at this point. Are you referring to the software and hardware that you use in performing your autopsies? Yeah, spreadsheets and bone saws? Yeah, but you can learn that on site. You have to actively study mods. All the anatomy textbooks in the world won't help you to understand why a healthy 30-year-old is exhibiting mania and constant vomiting. Unless you saw last week's recall on the HAO artificial liver for lithium leaks. Mods can make people sick, even though they're meant to improve the body? Yeah, just like medicine can make people sick. And just like medicine, there's a lot of profit to be made with mods. But unlike medicine, mods haven't really been around for thousands of years. Feels like we're still playing catch-up. We, as in medical professionals? We, as in everyone, sweetie. Oh yeah, she has like a centipede tattoo. The whole world's population is graying. The numbers on cause of death reflect that. Less cardiovascular, more neurological. What about cancer? Cancer mortality has been on the decline for a while now. Mods help with that. How so? By making everyone that much more comfortable with the amputation. It used to be people had no choice but to fight the cancer, and it was costly. A salt-the-earth kind of war that left the body severely weakened. With mods, where they're at today, doctors just cut off the offending organ and replace it and move on. But not every organ. No, artificial brains are... Nothing I've seen has told me that they'll be on the menu anytime soon. But mods mods that aren't implanted into the brain entering the market as we speak? Yeah, but it's more like they're implanted onto the brain. Small computers that read commands directly from the cortex instead of, say, the keyboard of your fingers you're typing on. No, to actually replace brain tissue, you would have to, like... Well, the analogy has become pretty common. But the human brain isn't actually that much like a computer. Thank you! Thank you, Sato! Thank you! Gosh. So many more points with meters now. Boxes specialized components where you can swap new parts, increase the memory and processing speed. Everything is connected to everything. And ow. Hi, Madeline.
Nice.
Good night, Trans Night. Good night. Sleep well. And memory, as we speak, isn't even as you think of it, isn't stored in a place. It's stored among connections in a relative. Oh, okay, wait. Actually, no. Maybe it was Sato. Maybe this is literally me because she's like, this is what I say. I've had open and seen for myself more times than I can count. There are no cutting off points in the nervous system. Anything you take away, any other part's just gonna notice. That was a long tangent. Sorry, I can't imagine a lecture on the human nervous system was of any interest in Android. Yes, I mean, it isn't. That is to say, what's wrong? I don't want to implicate Yumi in anything illegal by telling her about my unique circumstances. Oh, we're actually seeing her, Sarah's thoughts. But how can I change the subject? When Adana wants me to change the subject, she'll typically find something arbitrary in the background to ask about. I am curious about the many decorations on your desk. Oh, what caught your eye? That magnet over there. Really? Recognize it? It appears to be a flag, but I do not know the country of origin. Oh! It's an early 21st century flag. They used to change the designs every few years back then, so you kind of collecting like coins. Fuck yeah! I see. And what is this? What is this flag proud of? Oh my god! Yeah! Being trans or trans visibility? Yeah, okay, I'm Sato. This is the only good thing I think of the future. Fuck yeah, fuck yeah. Being trans or trans visibility more accurately? Visibility? What does that mean? Yeah, canonical trans woman, yes! Fucking go! Oh my god. She would be the goth doctor. Yeah. Oh god. Oh, we're living in the middle of a mod revolution. Anyone can look like whatever they want, whoever they want, as long as they have the cash. Compared to swapping out cybernetic arms and slotting in artificial spines, hormone therapy and artificial surgery is nursing student level. And it's fast, too. The paperwork, the treatments, the recovery time, it's all so much faster than it used to be. Oh my god. Don't know if that makes the decision any less heavy. But no one has to cross their fingers and wait anymore. After just a few days, they only have scars. So, all told, that means for the first time in a long time, this generation has fewer visibly trans people than the last one. And a flag like that one, dunno, I guess it won't mean the same thing anymore. So is that a good thing? Or a bad thing? I don't know if that's good or bad, sweetie. Just different. And there's nothing wrong with being different, right? Like I said, you have many things in common. Okay, well, now I'm 100% sold on Yumi. Ow, wow, 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 wow. Yeah. File cache corrupted, recovery failed. Source unknown, last modified 2085. Begin playback. Great work. That's all the boxes checked. Thank you, Jess. No problem! Only 6 minutes till 5 o'clock. Why don't you start the holiday weekend early? Oh, if you insist. Oh god, there's a pub crawl in the Twilight World. It's just got my name on it. What about you? Got any big plans? Actually, there's an art festival at West I've been looking forward to. Nice! Oh, and who's lucky enough to be at your +1? I didn't think to ask anyone. No one? Not Connor or Madison? Not Shelly? Not Lulu? Oh, Lulu. Oh, Lulu. I don't know how she's been. Dr. Ash, have you spoken to any of them recently? Recently, huh? It's a good question, Jess. But it depends on how you define... Okay. Here's what you're gonna do. You're going to give me your credit card. I'm going to buy 4 bottles of expensive wine and 3 boxes of expensive chocolate, 5 very nice apology cards, and you're going to sign them. And what should I do this weekend? Is that music festival on some kind of remote island with no net of media? No. Then you're going to stay home, and if anyone calls, start coughing and sneezing as much as you can. I see. Thank you, Jess. Don't thank me yet, Dr. Ash. I might have to buy something really expensive for Lily to break. You're a lifesaver. You know it. Oh. I just cried seeing that initially, which is funny because I didn't cry at the really sad stuff of the actual episode because I have been exhausted. If it wasn't late, I probably would. Oh wow, that's like, why is this lagging me so much? Why did it lag me so much? If it wasn't late, I would yell louder, probably. Speaking to include myself. But no, that's so fucking cool. I like that she's a cool character, and we're learning it after. Yeah, I don't know why slideshow. What's wrong? You've just been leaning against the wall. Yeah, can't you take the hint? Typically, no. Just don't like dancing, man. God. You're a musician. So? Why do you like dancing? Why is this happening? Well, you know what? Maybe this is a good opportunity to do this. See how this works. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, it turned it off. Oh, well, never mind then. Wow. I don't know what caused my FPS to drop so much. Oh, that's weird. Because I'm bad at it. You're lucky you're cute. Sorry for laughing. I'm just surprised that you'd care what these people think. Oh, there we go. That's fine. I don't. Well, I do care about my business. Word gets out that I dance like someone's grandpa. Gigs will dry up overnight. So it's not that you don't want to dance. It's that you don't want to be embarrassed. Sure. Yeah. Let's go with that takeaway. Well, it's easy enough to fix. You just need someone else to dance even worse. Yeah, sure. That's all it. And there he goes. I swear, God. Lucky you're cute. Oh, you're cute. Oh, wait. I wonder if it's the transporter misbehaving. What are you watching? A thriller. Runtime 92 minutes. Oh, wait. I think I saw part of this in a hotel once. What are they doing now? Is this the ending? No, this is the rising action. The hero and his ragtag team have to pull off one last heist to get out of the game for good. Oh, but it's not that simple. The casino he needs to rob is on a satellite orbiting the Earth at 16,000 miles per hour. How fast is that in kilometers? Father, you should be able to calculate that. I learned the program so I wouldn't have to. Why haven't the thieves been caught yet? If there was that much money on board, why they put cameras everywhere? There's legal gambling happening on the satellite, so their ultra-wealthy clientele wouldn't want there to be any video evidence of the crimes. There's illegal gambling happening on the satellite? That guy's too real human. There's legal gambling happening on the satellite. They're in orbit, the same as being in international waters. Would you like to sit and watch? No, I'm not. I have somewhere to be, actually. Only stop because... completely unrealistic. The poker chips would be floating all over the place. There was a throwaway line about how everything is magnetized. Oh? Oh. Father. That's David's hand gesture. She's copying him. Didn't you have to go? I do. Soon. Yeah! Yeah! Oh. But not right this second. Oh. Wee. Alright. Emma Morgan Midnight? Alright. They're adorable. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Oh my god, wait. You ready to give up yet? I've been staring at this footage for 9 hours. Oh, we can call it quits whenever you'd like. Me? Are you kidding? Oh, I could do this all night. But my makeup's starting to feel cakey, so... 5-minute break. Deal. What were you hoping to find, anyway? I don't know. I had my fingers crossed that some shadowy figure that would walk into frame and just hold up a confession, but... what about you? You've already got her on camera handling the murder weapon. How many more nails do you need in the coffin? 1 or 2 should suffice. I guess the truth is, I was curious. What does a homicidal AI get up to in its spare time? Turns out it's a couch potato. What's all a TV? And why is half of it in black and white? Public domain. Seriously? Anything digital from the 20s or 30s is too polluted to be useful. But go back in time 70 years and it's all clean. It's clean as spring water. Also free. They had color in 2016, Morgan. I don't know then. I guess this particular homicidal AI just happens to be an old soul. Hold on. What was that? There. Oh, there. Oh my god, look at her go. She's tearing that thing apart. What? A computer? That's how you learn to put them together. You're gonna try and terrify bears with this? They got closer. It's just a machine, Emma. It's not like she's dissecting a frog. Sarah is a machine, and she's ripping out circuitry with her hesitation. If she was a human child, that'd be like... You're reaching. Yeah, I guess so. Ooh. Besides, you're telling me you've never pulled apart your dolls when you were a kid? No, I didn't. Did you? When I was a kid, I didn't play with dolls. So, what did you play with? Normal kid stuff. Sticks and stones, birds and squirrels. Birds and squirrels? Are you a cartoon princess? I mean, I can kind of see it. Skipping through the Jennifer's big poopy dress, tiara. Gee, no castle. Nah, no castle. I can tell you didn't have it that rough. Is it rough living in a castle? It's a lot of empty rooms in here, kid. I need to go brush my face. Sure. But if you fall asleep in the toilet, I am going to keep going without you. If you're chilling on the keyboard when I get back, I am going to handcuff you to the desk. Fair's fair. Uh-huh. Hot. Alright, and that's it. I think that's everything in the game. God, this was so good. Like, it was all so good. What's that one? Oh, it's of the other kid. I forget her name. There's some. Oh, Inverse and Morgan's colors. Interesting. Yeah, that's a fair way to do it. 6 birds and squirrels and sticks and stones caught amongst their colors. It is my time for sleep. It is. It is. It is. Here's dog. There's just. Oh. Oh, like a fancy letter? Too silly. Morgan's letter, right? He's our friend. Oh wait, and this is tall lady. Yeah, it's just cool design. Alright. You have a raid message session? Alright, go for it. Yeah, let's raid out. Thank y'all for hanging out. There's legal gambling happening on the satellite raid. Okay, that works. That works. And do we? Go say hi to Seahorse. Yeah, I'm happy you're here too. And I'm very happy to have gone through this whole game on stream, or like chapter 1 on stream, really. And when the other chapters come out, I'm definitely gonna have an updated outfit for it, and we'll play it too. But yeah, for now, have a good night, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the support and all everything. Just everything.
Yes, yes.
And take care of yourselves. I'm gonna be, what am I doing tomorrow? Some things. Key switch played, yeah, I hope you get some good sleep. I'm gonna be going, what am I doing tomorrow? I don't know. Oh, I saw a movie yesterday. I totally forgot. I didn't talk about that, but I saw Naked Gun. And that was really fun. Police Squad is fun. Anyways, that's it, I guess. Bye. Hi, Jada Fury. Bye. Timer's almost gone, so I'll just yeah. Sleep well. Good night.